Hello. Oh, welcome to a very special week of streaming. So, um, for those who are as of yet unaware, um, I signed up to be a part of Studio Elan's Visual Novel Fest, Fall in Love Visual Novel Fest, happening this week, where essentially a bunch of visual novels are either on discount or it's a promotion for future visual novels. So I got contacted by some of the developers participating in this, and I also went and found a couple of visual novels I thought were neat, and just picked up the demos myself. So let's give them a try. So hello to Mal and hello to Nix. I'm sorry that your attempts to go to sleep didn't work, but it's good to see you here. Right. So first of all, we are going to be playing. What is it called? London Echoes of the Past, which is one of the ones that reached out to me. The demo is not currently available. Um, it will be available tomorrow. So if you wish to play this yourself, the demo, um, it'll be public tomorrow. They just gave me early access to it. Brain is my own worst enemy. Fucking same. Also, just quick note for anybody wanting to play this yourself. Um, the game starts up in Chinese, so just simply go to your settings, and it's this first one here, and select English, and you're good to go. Pretty art. Yes, the art is very pretty on this one. Let's read the store Steam page real quick. London Echoes of the Past is a short Yuri mystery visual novel. A gloomy woman returns back from the dead, and the dusty past surfaces. Between a gloomy schoolgirl and a glamorous ex-girlfriend, every clue intertwines. Who is the mastermind behind the scene? Play as a detective heroine in 1935 London. Embark on a journey of love and growth. Fuck Daryl. Goddamn Daryl. Alright, let's get to it. It all started with a commission. When the client, who was said to be recommended by a classmate, knocking on the door, Joan is tidying up the documents on her desk and utters a casual, "Come in." While the words still hang in the air, the client pushes the door and steps into the room uninvited. Joan looks up and happens to catch a glimpse of a complex emotion flashing across the girl's face. She never knows that single glance will change her life forever. The client speaks with clear mind, slicing straight to the purpose in a few words. But that's not where the problem lies. Sorry, Miss Serena, I didn't get your point. You mean your cousin passed away 5 years ago, but now she shows up lively again? Yes, that's right. No, I still can't understand. Joan has seen too many people who love spinning wild and weird stories for attention. The girl before her couldn't be more than 18 or 19. Even if she really encounters something so bizarre, she should call the police or ask her family for help. I was gonna adjust the, I'm going to adjust the volumes. The music's a little loud. There we go. His name is Drew. Oh, oops, sorry, Daryls of the world. The girl is serious. She is playing a detective game so seriously. Looking at the serious face of the girl, Joan can't help but smile slightly. Realizing the ill-timed smile on her lips, Joan changes her position, avoiding eye contact with the girl. Miss Detective, please do take my commission seriously. My apologies. As a newly established agency, we are very busy. I'm afraid we are unable to accept cases without evidence. Maybe you can go to police for help. No matter what we find, I'll pay you the full going rate for this work. It's not about money, Miss Serena. After a long stalemate, the girl opposite shows no intention of canceling her commission at all. Joan takes a deep breath, then compromises. Well, if you insist, I'll need half the fee up front as a deposit. The girl frowns briefly before relaxing into a meaningful expression. Deal. The conversation accomplished, the girl pushes the door and exits with deliberate calm. So calm, it feels like this is her very own home. Maybe this client is more out of the ordinary than the case she brings. Joan ponders for a few breaths before she hears the footsteps behind the door fading away. She smiles thoughtfully, then lowers her head and continues to tidy up the documents on the desk. Back turned to the door, Serena wipes her tears carelessly. Left hand pressing on the buckle of the bag, a breath escapes from her lips. She calms down, then leaves the agency. Yet she can't help looking back, desperate to see the distant silhouette. You really didn't recognize me, Joan? Or you never paid any attention to me? October is the rainy season in London. After Serena left, Joan glances at the clock on the wall, then changes into a brown trench coat, dons a leather hat, grabs an umbrella, opens the door, and steps out. Rain merges with the heavy air, falling onto the nameplate above the door. Joan's Detective Agency. By day, it's her office, but by night, it's her home. Outside working hours, she stays in the bedroom upstairs. This international student is passionate about detective work. She rented a street-side apartment in London and set up a detective agency specializing in helping Asian students solve problems. Although the Chinese characters cannot be engraved on the nameplate, this place remains a haven for those far from home. Wet streets and the chilly, clammy air of the rainy season weigh down the mood. Joan steps into a coffee shop near the station. The coffee tastes the same as usual. She's still not used to it, but the slight bitterness overpowers the dampness in her nostrils. As the tram arrives at the station, Joan walks over leisurely and boards it. Under the brim of her hat, her eyesight is fixing on the rain-blurred window, ignoring the occasional critical gaze directed at her. After disembarking and walking another 10 minutes, Joan stands at the post office entrance just as her watch strikes 3 o'clock. Joan sighs inwardly with relief. She didn't miss the appointment. This contact was unusually cautious, leaving only a letter in the cabinet, no meeting. This deviates from the original arrangement, but with everything appearing normal, her training and detective instincts tell her she should pick up the envelope. Though rain falls lighter now, Joan shields the envelope before tucking it away carefully. She lifts her umbrella-holding hand, the gloomy sky fueling inexplicable unease. Pushing down this feeling, she retraces her route at an unhurried pace. It's 4 p.m. when she returns to the agency. The already gray streets grow even darker, and her real work begins. When she enters the room, Joan quickly examines the furnishings in the house. Seeing that everything is the same as before, she steps in with relief and closes the doors and windows. Let's look at the fireplace. October in London still carries a hint of coolness, though the dancing flames in the fireplace keep the entire room warm. The shelves hold case archives Joan has handled or is currently addressing. Oh, that's where we can adjust settings. Oopsie. Turn to main menu. We can load, which we don't want to, but I will save over our previous save. And look at our letters or our book. Let's look at our letters, I guess. Joan draws a letter from the table. On the letter, it seems to be a long chat, in fact, the organization's code hidden inside. Recently, Joan received a letter from the organization. A gangster nicknamed Black Tiger often helps the Japanese smuggle goods and information. Because he constantly travels between countries, it is difficult to track his whereabouts. They only know that he might be in the UK at present. Reconfirming the previous information, Joan checks the photos in the letter she has just fetched from the post office. Let's look at the photo. Sure enough, the photo in the letter is Black Tiger. His features are obvious. His features are obvious. Dark skin and a scar on the right side of his face. Inside the letter, there's also a small note paper. Black Tiger arrived in London already. Alias Oliver. Address unknown. Please meet the clerk of the flower shop opposite the post office at the same time 3 days later. Contact code Violet. Joan strokes the notepaper and flips it over, then shades it with a pencil, revealing the hidden message written on the back. Excuse me, I'd like a bunch of sweet ozanthus with 2 lilies. You have great taste. Autumn is indeed the season for ozanthus, but they are rarely seen in London. Ah, my hometown is full of them. She makes a mental note of the message. Joan looks at the documents on the desk where her daily work is recorded. A year ago, Joan came to the UK with the assistance of the organization with two purposes: conveying information and raising funds for the organization. Of course, she carries out some special tasks sometimes as well. After the establishment of the detective agency, Joan helped many international students with similar backgrounds to herself while investigating cases, and became somewhat famous in London. Burn the files. Joan lights the brazier and burns the letter and the photo together. The face illuminated by the brief flames looks calm and steady. She sweeps away the smoke and places the brazier back, just like she sweeps away the strange feeling of familiarity. Is it because of the codename Violet? The name Violet has long been familiar to Joan. There are many rumors about this person, and it is unclear what gender, age, or physical features this one possesses. However, one thing is for sure: Violet is their intelligence center in Europe. Joan was supposed to meet with Violet today, but for some reason, Violet cancelled the meeting at the last minute. Something's going on? Could Miss Serena's commission have something to do with this? Clue unlocked: the organization's mission, eliminating the Black Tiger. This man has a dark complexion and a scar on the right side of his face. Can we look at our clues? Oh. I haven't met this person yet. Her name is Queenie, though. Okay. Queenie is we'll never know. After a busy day full of work, Joan didn't go to bed until 1 a.m. With the gentle drowsiness, she recalls the scene deeply buried in her memory. Finally, class is over. Looking out the window. I can smell a fragrance when I walk on the street recently. What is it? It's sweet azanthus, very common in the south. Why people here plant sweet azanthus? I don't know either. We have been used to them anyway. The poet Li Bai has written a poem about azanthus. Do people plant sweet azanthus because they think it's elegant and noble, not vulgar? You have learned a lot about classic poetry. The girl grinned, her eyes curved. Then she picks up a branch of ozanthus by the roadside and flashed across Joan's eyes. Because our teacher, Joan, taught so well. Don't tease me. Their laughter faded away. Joan sits up in the daylight. She had a long and vivid dream that night, almost convincing enough to smell the fragrance of the azanthus in her hometown in October. Joan arrives at Serena's apartment. The residence enjoys an excellent location. Tranquil, lit, centrally situated, with an elegant courtyard below. Seems like a young lady from wealth. Perhaps boredom abroad led her to this detective charade. Miss Detective! Serena appears behind the door. As she lifts her gaze, her fringe shifts slightly, a delicate smile gracing her features. Miss Serena, there are some details about your commission that I need to confirm with you. The excitement in Serena's eyes fades. Yes, come in. Oh, so her earlier enthusiasm wasn't for the detective game? Joan is confused by the girl's strange mood changes. Before she can ponder further, her thoughts is interrupted by Serena's words. Please sit, detective. What shall I prepare? Coffee or tea? Either suffices. Serena stands by the table, resting her chin on one hand as she carefully examines the options. After a thoughtful pause, she picks up a box of tea and waves it playfully in front of Joan. Out of professional habit, Joan seizes the opportunity to scrutinize the tea caddy in the girl's hands while simultaneously casting her gaze over the interior arrangement. Inside the storage cabinet rests an identical tea caddy to the one Serena held. Not commercially available packaging, but bespoke porcelain tailored to match the furniture's aesthetic. That it was preserved within the cabinet suggests a tea cultivar this young woman particularly loved. The shelves brimming with volumes caught Joan's notice. A mere glance at their spines stirred an elusive sense of familiarity. Notably, though a complete tea set and leaves lay ready on the parlor table, Serena had deliberately overlooked them. Then why had Serena specifically selected this reserved caddy from the cabinet to serve her? Privileged upbringing fostering deliberate hospitality? Or ulterior motives? The young woman presently before Joan left her feeling rather perplexed. How about this? My favorite, fragrant without bitterness. I appreciate the consideration. Seated in the armchair, Joan surveys the interior. How long have you been living in London? Merely a month. And you? The duration escapes me. Are you here to study? Indeed. Yourself? Likewise. Then why did you become a detective? Were you always one, or a sudden idea after arriving here? The volley of questions heightens Joan's suspicion. She deflects with practiced neutrality. What would you speculate? Who can say? The world shifts unpredictably. Wouldn't you agree? Tit for tat. The girl's measured composure reveals no investigative urgency. There is something she wants. Each inquiry feels like a velvet-gloved probe. Joan's lingering doubts about Serena's supernatural tale now solidify into certainty. Pure fabrication. Yeah, the old days are long gone. You're newly arrived. Does homesickness trouble you? Serena doesn't answer immediately, kettle boiling forgotten as she stares through the window. Lost in thought for a suspended moment, Serena exhales softly. Pushing herself up, she begins preparing the tea. No, nothing worthwhile missing. Serena offers Joan the steaming cup. My thanks. Discord with your family, perhaps? Family? Your own relations, are they all in the homeland? Miss Serena, let's focus on the case. May I ask you the name of your sister? Serena sits opposite, observing Joan openly with unflinching focus as she enunciates deliberately. Surname Sin, given name Wrong. Shin Wrong. Joan mentally repeats it. An odd familiarity clings to the name. Miss Shin Wrong, your cousin, accompanied her parents to France years prior, then passed shortly after? Correct. Precisely what I told you yesterday. Your age at the time? 10. Nearly 11. And your cousin? She was 8 years older than me. Thus, she never returned after departing for France. Correct. So, how did you recognize her when you saw her 3 days ago? What manner of question is that? Of course I can recognize her at a glance. Considering your youthful parting, might there be potential for... Joan halts mid-sentence, detecting Serena's demeanor icing over. Serena instinctively lowers her gaze. An aborted blink, Serena forces sustained eye contact. In that fractional pause, emotional shutters slam closed. You mean I mistake her for others? The possibility exists. I attended her funeral in France. My sincere condolences. It was just an ordinary question, no different from any other. Why did she take such offense to that one? Redirecting, Joan opens her notebook, locating the relevant entry. She wore a wide-brimmed blue hat with hair pinned up, a blue ankle-length dress with a white blouse, and pearl earrings with a matching necklace. This aligns with contemporaneous French fashion. Might you have her photo accessible? Yes, family photo. Serena visibly relaxes in the new conversational tangent. Her unfinished words hang as she half rises, then abruptly reseats herself. That instinctive glance downward recurs. No, I didn't bring any. Which means she does take it with her. Joan takes a measured sip of tea. Never mind, I'm going to do the same. Should your schedule permit, please accompany me near your school, the sighting location. Clues may linger there. All right. It's a nice day. Yes, better than yesterday, but still an overcast day. The school is not far from Serena's residence. Joan and Serena walk along the street and reach a crossroads. It's very close to my office. Is it? That's where I saw my cousin. Your cousin moves to France many years ago. Did that change her name? Or did she change her name? Chat, is this Yuri? It is in fact Yuri. Hello, Ocean. Good to see you. Yes, Sophie. I don't even know your Chinese name. Just call me Serena. Despite the pretext, when Joan casually inquired about her Chinese name, Serena swiftly avoids the question. If she could mention Shinrong's name, why withhold her own? Joan knows this question wouldn't be answered by Serena, so she just nods and jots down the new clue in her notebook. Meanwhile, she is attempting to piece the information together. The surroundings. This is a prosperous area in the city, lined with shops and bustling crowds just 2 blocks away from Joan's office. So far, the girl calls herself Serena has never mentioned why she specifically asked Joan to help her find her mysterious cousin, nor has mentioned her real name. Was it solely due to proximity or hearsay? Serena's expression. Miss Detective? Sensing Joan's gaze, she replies absently, her gaze darting swiftly yet calmly through the crowd. Looks like she is seeking some treasure she hid deliberately. Mysterious woman. Woman! Oh my god. Women. A flash of blue passes. Serena instantly chases after it. Cousin! Joan saw the figure enter a jewelry store, but the crowded lunchtime streets delayed her. By the time Joan arrives, the store before Serena, the figure is nowhere to be seen. Turning, she faced an anxious Serena. Where is she? She must live nearby. Detective, please help me to find her. Joan finds it suspiciously convenient, encountering the identically dressed cousin immediately upon arrival. Could she have staged this? Don't worry, Miss Serena, I'll look around. Hearing Joan's words, the girl calms down. Not calmness, but fulfillment? The satisfaction of a plan accomplished. Then I'll leave it to you. I have an appointment and must return to school. Excuse me. Of course, Miss Serena. Serena's behavior felt stranger still. If genuinely seeking her cousin, why depart the moment she appeared? Why prioritize another appointment? It felt like an escape before the act crumbled. Stranger yet. Serena's purpose. Compared to Serena's attitude towards this cousin, Joan is more concerned about how the girl treated herself. Ostensibly kind and hopeful, yet carrying undercurrents of mockery, or something more sinister. And an elusive thread of resentment. For a first meeting? Serena, what is her purpose? Well, dwelling in the thoughts won't get me anywhere. Joan heads to the next location. Long time no see, Officer Grace. Oh, Joan, I never properly thanked you for the last time. I owe you so much. It's unnecessary between us to say thanks. Grace, I know you handle the census and immigration records of London. I need your help this time. Wow, that's so straight. This information is not open to the public, but for you, of course, just tell me, what do you need? I knew you wouldn't refuse me. A client is searching for her missing cousin. Maybe you could help me to check the immigration records and find out if she is still in UK? What is her name? Shinrong lives in France, so may also use the name Sophie. She is about 26. Likely, yes. The records show that she left France 5 days ago and arrived in London around 5 p.m. No records of her leaving. This Shinrong really is in London. This result really surprises Joan. Could it be that Serena was not lying? When was her last entry of exit recorded? That's so straight. Oh, no, this is Yuri, ma'am. This is Patrick. That's what I can't help. There are only records from the past 10 days. The more information is in the archive. The archive? I can't dig it out in a day or two. Okay, thank you, Grace. Drinks is on me next time. Disgusted, Joan returns to Serena's apartment. Little can be gleaned from her directly, but after several knocks, no answer. Joan sighs at the girl's lack security before deftly picking the inadequate copper lock. Of course, Joan doesn't have the habit of visiting clients' residence without permission. It's just that, being in the middle of a mission and encountering such an odd client, she can't shake the feeling that something was amiss. The case must come first. Joan crosses the living room and heads straight to the bedroom. Inside the bedside drawer lay several black and white photos. Most crucially, family portrait. 4 generations cramped into the frame, over 20 faces packed tightly. A young girl stood at the far left, hand clasped with her father's. Their resemblance. Joan froze. Serena? And this man. memories. Schoolgirls sat around a table, sharing their latest readings. Read anything good lately? La Dame, au Camale, for certain. Uncle Tom's Cabin is marvelous. A Doll's House remains my favorite. And you? What are you reading? Agatha Christie? Who's that? Joan smiled and was just about to explain. Somebody shout from not far away. Hey, Ya Kwong, a visitor. No. Hey, Ya Chong. I think. I'm so sorry. My ancestors are not smiling upon me today. The delightful conversation was abruptly interrupted. Aunt Joan had assumed it was some school nothings, so she rose with a smile still on her face. But as she approached, the visitors' uniforms grew unmistakably clear. Then Joan would never forget that scene. When she rushed home, she saw the silent and evasive Nahors and her old house, whose entrance was now barred by a policeman. Outside, near the well, a dried pool of blood stung her eyes. Joan was urgent to go into the house and check the situation. However, after negotiating, she was still not allowed to enter. Joan's hope was fading as she bit her lips and scoured her mind to get in. Seizing the moment, she managed to break into her own home. She saw several policemen, and a almost finished cheongsam on the table. Just a few days ago, she'd have been the one who urging Grandma to sleep early, or she would lost her eyesight. But now the stubborn figure who often sat at the table by candlelight will never come back. The policeman reacted and surged forward, wrenching her towards the door, but Joan couldn't feel anything, as if the pain didn't exist. Granny! Granny! After what seemed like an eternity, Joan was finally brought to the morgue to see her granny for the last time. Though she was filled with rage all of her mind, she still believed that there would be a fair result. But all that awaited her were apathy and evasion. Officer, who did this to my grandma? Well, maybe just an accident. We'll let you know when there's progress. There is a gunshot wound on her back head. Don't make things difficult for us. This is beyond your control. Stop asking questions. Just count yourself unlucky and arrange the funeral. You... Joan still wanted to protest, but other police officers pushed her further. In the next few days, Joan practically lived at the police station, going in every now and then to inquire about news, but no one was willing to tell her. Even Rost, Joan was no longer allowed to see her granny. When she requested she wanted to bring Granny home, those policemen seemed to take a relief and placed a death certificate labeled accidental before her, informing her she could only retrieve the body after signing it. Your granny should be laid to rest as soon as possible. Compensation will be provided. Don't ask anymore. Those was all they said, without the murderers identify. In the end, Joan gave up. After leaving the police station, Joan almost lost her mind and went back to school unconsciously. Yet she had no idea what to do, what she could do. Just sat here numbly, all blank in her mind. Miss He, are you listening? Yes? Joan suddenly snapped back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. Before her stood a woman in her late 20s, handsome in tone. She was the female officer I saw at the police station. Unlike the male officers, this woman remained silent when Joan pressed her for answers, yet she never shooed her away. Instead, she always looked at her with a sympathetic gaze. Joan had no idea why she came, but her nearly extinguished heart finally reignited with hope because of her. Officer. No need to call me officer. Just call me Jiang Cheng. You wanted to meet me? Your grandmother and I, we're from the same hometown. Joan felt astonished, then stepped forward and seized Jiang Cheng's hand like a lifeline. Officer Jiang, please help me. Grandma is my only family. But the police, they won't even tell me who the murderer is. Jiang Cheng sighed. You can't entirely blame them. The suspect has powerful connections, and the evidence available isn't enough to convict him. They won't tell you to prevent you from getting involved and facing revenge. Joan listened carefully and wiped away her tears. I'm not afraid of revenge. Jiang Cheng caught Joan's wrist and gestured for silence. Though I work at the police station, I hold no real authority here. When it comes to homicide cases, there's little I can do. Jiang Cheng glanced around and pulled Joan aside. That family has power and influence locally, along with privileged connections. They're extremely difficult to confront. Stop investigating. Then Jiang Cheng pulled out a pouch of silver dollars and pressed it into Joan's palm. Take those. Jiang Cheng's kindness left Joan a bit bewildered. Though still in school, she came from a poor family after all. Joan could tell it was probably Jiang Cheng's salary for several months. No, I can't take your money. It's too much. The coffin, ritual, cemetery, all cost money. Your grandma deserves a dignified departure. Thank you, madam. Your kindness is engraved in my heart. I'll return this favor someday. Joan's eyes brimmed with tears. She fought them back, her words choking. I just want to know who he is. Jiang Cheng's expression softened with concern, her eyes clouded with worry. I'll tell you, but you must promise not to do anything reckless. I promise. Jiang Cheng raised her head. Jiang Cheng raised her head and made sure nobody is nearby, then finally spoke in a low voice. The man's surname is Shin. His family is involved with gangs due to his exceptional marksmanship. People call him One-Shot Shin. Following extensive investigations, Joan ultimately attended the auction to trace the suspicious woman. Some chapters are skipped to feature more characters in demo. Full version will be playable after officially released. Okay. Yeah, yep, fair enough. When Joan arrived, the auction had already begun. The venue was lavishly decorated, packed to the rafters with people. How can I find her among this crowd? Joan sits in the corner near the door, observing the guests while organizing the clues she gathered. Among passengers on the Paris 6 days ago, no woman resembled Shinrong. Therefore, the passport user wasn't her. More likely a relative, friend, or an imposter assuming her identity. Joan realized she needed to revisit Serena's home regardless of the auction outcome. Excuse me. The voice behind interrupted Joan's thought. She jolted back to reality and stepped aside. Thanks. Oh. It's her. The moment their shoulders brushes, a tremor seizes Joan's heart. Startled, she grabs the other's wrist. Instantly, familiar pale blue eyes meet Joan's gaze. Both froze in surprise. After a brief silence, the woman speaks first, her voice elegant and mellow. Oh. Queenie. Xiaoya? How can it be her? How can they reunite so abruptly at an auction house in London? Joan feels overcome with complex emotions, though her face remains calm. So does the woman before her. Xiaoya, how have you been lately? I've been good. And you? Same. This time, Joan chooses to take the initiative. Just 10 minutes. Let's chat. All right. The auction remains bustling, but between Joan and Queenie, the atmosphere is awkwardly distant. Joan notices. The attire. A blue ankle-length dress with a white blouse. She was the mysterious woman Joan saw that day. The two stepped aside, avoiding the passage crowd. When did you arrive in London? More than 1 year. What about you? 6 days ago. 6 days ago? Joe turns alert. For business? Or planning to stay here long term? I've taken over the family business these past 2 years. Came to see if any auction items were worth collecting. Never imagined meeting you. I'm happy to see you. Her pale blue eyes held a certain profoundness, like a breeze rippling across the tranquil waters of Joan's long-settled heart. Joan turns her head aside slightly, avoiding Queenie's gaze. Are you leaving? The auction isn't over yet. Today's items have low collectible value. Doesn't feel worth the time. All right. Xiaoya, you've changed a lot. Joan looks into Queenie, trying to describe how she has changed. Yet the more she looks, the more she has to admit that she still is as beautiful as ever. You're more composed than before. You Haven't changed much to look at, but you seem more composed. Hearing Joan, Queenie's brows smoothed and she smiled spontaneously. Really? Just giving credit where it's due. You don't seem very composed asking that. Huh. Xiao, are you in England to study? Yes, a distant relative sponsored me to study. Congratulations, then. You always loved detective novels. Being here in their homeland. It's like your dream came true. The two are speechless for a moment after talking about their past. But it is true, as Queenie said, isn't it? Joan smiles. Thanks. How long will you be in London? Not sure yet. I have some business to discuss. If it goes well, I could leave in 3 to 5 days. Looks like you're pretty busy. With a tight schedule like that, you must be very busy. Hearing the fall of the hammer, Queenie glances at her watch instinctively. Joan looked around at the departing crowd, then to Queenie, who seemed to be thinking what to say. Looks like you have other arrangements today. Sorry to have held you up. Nonsense. Reuniting after all this time, I wanted to chat more, but... It's okay. Just go about your business and we'll talk another day. Deal. Thank you, Xiaoya. Now that we're reunited, surely we can find time for another meeting, no? Won't you leave me your address? I don't have a fixed address in London. Maybe you can leave me your address? Not bothering to question her sincerity, Joan pulled a business card from her bag for Queenie. My agency's address is on it. Feel free anytime. Joan's detective agency. Queenie took it, examined it carefully, and an irrepressibly delighted expression flashed across her face. You made it! Xiaoya, you are amazing! Her expression seemed genuine, so Joan also gives a sincere smile back. Thank you. I'll come visit you. See you next time. Okay, see you. As as Queenie's figure faded, Joan sank into silent contemplation. Arriving from France 6 days ago, could it just be coincidence? Judging the timing, Joan stealthily followed Queenie's route. She followed half a block behind, keeping Queenie's back in distant view. So, is Queenie the one using Shinrong's identity? Yes. There couldn't be that many coincidences. Queenie's family was always mysterious and now even more inexplicable. Hi, Sasha. Good to see you. Hope you've been doing well. I hope you had a good pizza. Thanks for tuning in. We're doing visual novels. That's what we're doing. I kind of forgot for a moment. But I hope you're doing good. Seems going well as we put while I wind down. Anyway. Hope you can wind down successfully. Let's get back into it. Watching Queenie turn into an alley, Joan stopped hesitating and sped up. Around the corner, the alley is deserted. Crap! Realizing the trick, Joan spins to run and collides with someone behind her. Queenie looks at Joan with a hint of resignation in her eyes, her tone tinged with sarcasm. Xiaoya, after years apart, you've truly become a proper detective. After saying that, the detective feels even more awkward. This clumsy sense seems to have played out countless times between them. I just happened to be passing through. Fancy seeing you here? Queenie chuckles, bypassing Joan's flimsy excuse. I too have much to say, but now's not the time. Let's meet lunchtime tomorrow? You pick the place. Joan knows she was caught. Her tracking had likely raised Queenie's guardedness. To avoid worsening suspicion, she chose a public spot after a moment's thought. For lunch, a restaurant then. How about Rule's Restaurant in Covent Garden? Get authentic British food. Be Roman. Authentic British food is essentially just French food. If it's fancy food. Alright, so tomorrow at 12 noon? Then see you there. See you there. Thank you for playing! London's Echoes of the Past is coming in November 2025. Enjoyed this game. Don't forget to add the game to your Steam wishlist to support us. Stay tuned to our official X account for the latest updates. That's it. Yeah, the art style very cool. I like what I think I could glean the from the story, but the English localization is very rough. It's not the worst I've seen, but definitely this is it's always kind of hard to recommend like a mystery game where I can't be fully confident in the in in the localization, which is a shame because I I do like what I'm seeing, and as as someone of both Chinese and British heritage, this is extremely my thing, especially being set in 1935. But yeah, localization's pretty rough. Yeah, so um, I'm gonna keep my eye on it, and hopefully they can really brush up the localization because it definitely needs some work. But I really do like what I'm seeing as far as everything else. So uh, if you like what you saw, make sure to wishlist it yourself. The link is up there. I'm going to take a break, and then I'll get the next one set up. And oh, excuse me. We'll continue on tonight. Oh, my mouth is gonna be so sore by the end of this stream. I really should have done vocal warm up before this instead of playing guitar, but I didn't. Oops. Hee hee. Hello, Mario. What did my? Oh no, did that fucking break? Hmm. I'm so sorry. My so I updated to I updated to OBS 32, and that was a mistake because literally all of my plugins are breaking. And by literally all of them, I mean at least two of them. You'll probably notice that my fan art slideshow doesn't show the names of the people anymore, and that's because the plugin I was using doesn't work with 32. And also, I guess my thing where I had to like just automatically mute when I go to my BRB screen didn't work. So I apologize if you heard me like moving around and stuff. So that's cool. That's good. I'm glad I didn't say anything stupid while I was away, but I'm gonna have to go back and mute that. Yay. I thought it was supposed to be that. No. No. No, it was supposed to just be the BRB music. You were not supposed to be hearing anything else. Oh my god. Let this be a lesson to just never update programs. Never do it. Security risk, don't know what that is. Don't care. Don't not never update. Anyway, let's get this next game on the road. Whoops, I can't spell. That's right, let your dreams take flight. Watch the line go up, line go up, line. Go up, line go up. Anyway, we're on to our next game here. Ugh, excuse me, sorry. Death and Faeology by Studio Mushroom Mallow. In a world where the Fae-touched fall prey to a sinister killer, only a Faeologist can uncover the truth. A dark academia murder mystery visual novel with supernatural cases, interactive investigation, romanceable characters, and multiple endings set in the roaring 1920s New York. Mind keeping the demons out of my brain? I mean, I'll keep them out, but like in doing so, you are inviting another demon into your brain. Like, I hope you understand that. New York mentioned. Let's go, baby. Love the Mets. Love the Mets, baby. Okay. So the game is built in Unity, so I should have no problem using game capture. I'm gonna turn down the volume before it launches. Your accent, we gotta work on that. Look, Look, I'm trying my fucking best here. I'm walking here. I'm walking here. Ugh, anyway. Please cease. I'm talking here. I'm gonna have an aneurysm. Let's get started. So, there are a couple things I need to pay attention to that was brought to my knowledge. The demo can take over 2 hours. I'll probably give this 1 hour preview. Investigation UI is still a bit rough, and we're currently working on improving it. For Eat Now, it's easier not to stack items and keep only a few on the desk at once. May help to keep a notepad nearby for jotting down details. We made a walkthrough in case you feel stuck or want to check out. Okay, so with that in mind, let's get started. What is my name? Augustine? Absolutely not. It's Soroka. Grading first-year assignments can be such an exercise in patience. I ought to remind myself that Faeology is a relatively recent science, only a couple of decades old. This university, the only Faeology university in the whole country, was just finished being built in 1905. It is still barely acknowledged in the academic field. More importantly, I've got to keep in mind that children inherit their parents' prejudices and misconceptions. The human world has formed its own notion of fairies. Alas, I find myself unable to suppress a big sigh every time I read references to poisoned apples ushering princesses into eternal sleep. A reference to the Cottingley fairies is one I can understand, since it was quite the sensation not too long ago. Although it will be clear in the eyes of renowned phaeologists that the photographs are mere imitations. A pity that Sir Doyle was taken in by it. I ought to take a break. The grading session today has taken me quite a tangent. My beloved Oz. I suppose having a fairy companion does give one an advantage in identifying genuine fairies. I'd say a break is in order, wouldn't you, Oz? Oz responds through trills that I've learned to interpret over the decades I've known them. The Cottingley fairies again? Yes, and Princess's eternal slumber due to poison apples. We don't care much for human princesses. But making poison apples is rather an easy feat. Shall I turn one of them into a toad in front of the whole class to show that Fae folk is capable of more than that? At the same time showing them that not all fairies are a friendly bunch? I can't help but chuckle at the thought of that. I believe some might just quit the same day if you do that. Besides, if other phaeologists get a hold of your existence, who knows what they'll do to you? Chances are high those people will try to pin you to a corkboard and vivisect you. I would never let that happen. I've always appreciated your pursuing Faeology to ensure that. It's the least I could do. We've known each other since I was 7. You've saved me countless times since then. Well, you could have let me bled to death when you found me. I would never. I hear a delightful melody of chirps laced with a touch of whimsy, which makes me feel just a tad fizzy. It seems that even the laugh of a fairy possesses some magical quality. Well, you're on a break. Isn't there something else on your agenda this afternoon? Right, Mr. Henkel's letter. Thanks for reminding me. I retrieve the letter from my patron from a desk drawer. I lean back on my chair and read the missive aloud to myself. Dearest Soroka, how long are you going to keep me in suspense? Will you or will you not accompany me to this year's Laios Gala? You could do a lot worse than forgetting your boring books for a moment in favor of whiling away an evening with champagne and canapes and invigorating company. And when I say invigorating, I'm not speaking of those old sods with deep pockets ready to be exploited by way of funding grants for your research. I'm speaking, of course, of yours truly. Do write to me sometime before Saturday. That's tomorrow's date, isn't it? Oh, I know. My delay in responding is entirely by design, I assure you. I'd hate to be getting the looks from the crowd like I'm a wet blanket. Faeology isn't worth my dough, they'd say. Oz replying chirp is decidedly indignant. I nod to Oz in agreement before returning to Mr. Henkel's letter. In other news, I've heard that little Ruthie Blythe caused a minor ruckus in the city's hottest speakeasy. If your old friend Detective Krause hadn't been in the area at the time as well, who knows what could have happened? I find myself rather perturbed at this revelation. I would have telephoned Ruthie and asked what the story was, like when we were children. However, for better or for worse, we aren't on friendly terms anymore. It's time for you to try and nest. Have a good nest next. Hope you can sleep well. I resume reading my patron's letter. Speaking of the detective, have the two of you been keeping in contact? He gave me the cold shoulder when I crossed paths with him at last week's benefit. I couldn't help assuming that his persistently frosty treatment of me might have something to do with you. It's unfortunate that the extensive bonds you have with him should end in a rather bitter taste. As you have told me more than once, when it was good, there was nothing else quite like it. Yet you speak very little of him now, and I find myself wondering if he still holds a place in that guarded heart of yours. The letter is signed, Yours everlasting, Oscar Henkel. Well, I've kept Mr. Henkel waiting long enough. I press a pen to a fresh sheet of paper to commence crafting a response. Just then, a familiar rhythmic rapping pierces the silence. Oh my god, it's time for hydration. I glance in the direction of Oz, but they're nowhere to be seen. Oz must have camouflaged the flaws themselves in a heartbeat. I put Mr. Henkel's letter in the drawer before calling out. Come in, Mingy. My assistant enters the office. She's careful to snap the door shut behind her. Professor. Yes, Minnie? Were you talking to yourself again? That's right, you know me. I see. Sometimes I wonder what she must have thought while hearing the mumbled sounds of me speaking with Oz. But she knows when not to poke her nose into things. One of the things I like about her, and what also makes her the bee's knees when it comes to being an assistant. I'd hate to be the bearer of bad news, but he's here. Who? That police detective from the newspapers. Police detective? Even as I echo these two words, there's a sinking feeling in my stomach. You know, the man who all made you crumple the papers and toss them in the trash can? In the end, we had to stop our subscription for the dailies. Detective Theodore Krauss? Yes, that's the one. Knowing Theo is here makes my world go momentarily off kilt. It's as if, by the magic of the fairy tales I'm malign, the ink in my patron's letter has manifested him into the reception area. Can't you tell him I'm out delivering a lecture on the far side of campus or something? That depends. Is a lie like that going to deter this man? An astute question. She is truly wise beyond her years. When I hear police, real. Probably not. He'd happily traverse the entire campus just to torment me, I'm guessing. All right, let him in. With a brisk nod, Minnie returns to the reception area. I barely have time for a steadying breath before Theo barges in. He drops a box on my desk right off the bat. What is this? Why is he in my office? Well, well, look who the cat dragged in. Not even a how do you do? What? Do niceties suddenly mean something to you? I seem to recall you packing your bags and moving out with so much as a goodbye. There was no one to say goodbye to. Didn't you find out I left only a few days later? At least it made it easier for you to leave, didn't it? There is a tinge of hurt in his voice that I'm only able to pick up because we lived together for several months. As my mouth struggles to catch the words hanging in the air, I feel the piercing, icy silence creep in. I ought to break the silence before I freeze. What's in the box? He lets out a deep sigh that sounds rather like relief. Your things that somehow you didn't take with you when you left. Even that oddly crafted handkerchief you love so much. That handkerchief was a gift for you! I see the corner of his mouth twitch. He's lying. What should I do with this information? Respond in disbelief. I don't believe you. I declare my disbelief while crossing my arms. He stares at me impassively, then scantly shrugs in acquiescence. Well, you saw right through me. There's no way those things would ever fit into this box. I threw all of it right away when you vanished. He says with a subtle squint in his left eye, another lying tell of his. I can't help but sigh at his antics. Of course you did. So what's really in the box? Want to take a guess? I do have an idea. Knowing him, he'd sooner face the whole Al Capone gang by himself and take their bullets before coming to visit me. This must be way more important than our poignant history. Case evidence? I've seen boxes like this one before, but never quite so large. It's a really big case, isn't it? He nods. The biggest of my career. And come to me, of all people. You must be at your wit's end about this. He looks away as if trying to hide how galling the circumstances at hand are. Truth be told, I'd rather face the whole Al Capone gang and take their bullets than have to see you again. Gee, that stings a little. You know what? You're so right, Lindsay. Take care. Thanks for lurking. Oh, have a good night. So why would you... Hold on a minute. You think this is some sort of connection to fairies? He flicks his tongue in exasperation. Oh my, it seems I've hit the bullseye. We stopped talking about fairies at some point while we were still together. Those talks always led to a heated discussion and then to arguments because nothing I could say could change his skepticism towards mystical being. This is certainly the chance to tease him about it, though it might be unwise considering the emotional peril he must have gone through to get here. What should I do next? Let's not tease him. Ask more about his thoughts. I know this must be hard for you, but I can't help you if you don't say anything. He sighs. You're right. As difficult as it is to admit, the things you've told me about fairies and whatnot might have helped to make sense of this case. But I have to say, for the sake of my sanity, I still don't believe they exist. Fair enough. He appears pleasantly surprised by my answer, as if he was expecting a quarrel right around the corner. Little did he know, I've learned it's moot to try and explain the otherworldly beings to him. So, what makes this case so significant? Why did you think it relates to fairies? Are you even allowed to tell me? I hear the sound of a chuckle under the breath like a bolt from the blue. For a brief moment, his gaze on mine seems to revert to how it used to be, until the seriousness returns to his face. First things first, since I'm leading the investigation, I do have some discretion on what details to divulge to and to whom. That is, if the confidant can bring value to the investigation. And I've known you for a fact that you can be discreet. And I've known you for a fact that you can be discreet. Still, I must ask your sworn secrecy on this matter. You got it. So, tell me about the case. Why does it seem to be of paramount importance? It's a multiple murder case, potentially perpetrated by a single culprit. The victims are chiefly middle-aged women resorting north of the city. They're from old money families, the type that make regular appearances at high society events. I see. No wonder you're all tensed up. You're telling me. Chief took me off every other case and insisted I put all my time and effort into this. It's only a matter of time until the press catches wind and makes a circus of everything. And with some of the victims' peculiar manners of death. He pauses. This is where the fairies come in. He silently stares and then sighs. I swear I must be losing my mind. You've got this. Now he draws in a long, deep breath. 3 of the victims had a manner of death that the unit has never seen or heard of before. Hello, back. I'm Soroka. Good to see you, Mal. More tea. More tea. Three of the victims had a manner of death that the unit has neither seen nor heard of before. The strangest case is one where the body seemingly hardened to bony tissue overnight. Her corpse almost looked like a carved wooden statue. Oh, I've heard of something like that before. Yeah, of course you have. I frowned at him. Don't start now. He clears his throat abashedly. Without finding what caused these deaths, and more importantly who did this, the press could spin the stories out of control. I don't want to imagine the look on the victims' families' faces if and when the papers are making a razz out of these poor women's deaths. Besides, what kind of depraved sick bastard goes around murdering women in such a way? The city's already running on fumes. Crimes are becoming rampant day by day. People shouldn't have to look over their shoulder every night. It's no way to live. Even if it lapses into silence, I say nothing. It's not just the city. The rising crime is bleeding him dry too. Yet, I am unsure of what words could soothe those who are fighting it on the front line. I've never been where they are. The frown lines between his eyebrows grow deeper. You know, considering the victims' backgrounds, having these murders being exaggerated in papers would pressure the families to insist on closing the case as soon as possible. No matter the cost. No matter who's to blame. You're You're right, innocent people are going to bear the brunt for this. This is a terrible situation. I feel my stomach churning. My arms cross on instinct, trying to hold my own disquietude in place. Is there anything you can do? I'm just one man. Try as I might, I can't keep those rotten police brats from lining their pockets. Nothing but a pack of lowlifes in high places. He exhales sharply, his voice laced with contempt. Then he falls into silence yet again. Similarly, words seem to have abandoned me, as I can't shake this feeling of helplessness crawling under my skin. After a minute, he meets my eyes once more. Well, you're a good listener, better than most. He curls his lip into almost a smile. I don't mind at all. Thanks. He clears his throat once more. Alright, let's get down to brass tacks. This box includes case files, crime scene photos, a couple of blood samples, which I was able to request to bring to you, and several other pieces of evidence. Other than the strange manners of death I've said, forensics was puzzled too by the blood samples. How so? One of them doesn't contain iron. That's interesting. Nothing surprises you, does it? Well, about this peculiarity, I'd bring up something from my fairy books, but you'd always find a way to deny it. You're right about that. I'm still investigating the possibility of unknown drugs or poison that somehow caused these oddities. But I'd be a fool not to go after my hunches and look into all possibilities. What about robbery? It's ruled out. No fingerprints, no evidence of breaking in, nothing had been stolen. And motives? Revenge? We're still interviewing the city elites, looking for the possible motives. But it takes time, you know how it is. Yes, of course, they're very busy. Speaking of city elites, I know people who can be very helpful in getting some inside information. The expression turns sour at full tilt. Who? That man? I said people, but yes, the man would be particularly helpful in this matter. He scoffs brazenly and doesn't even try to hide it. Even at the first meeting with Mr. Henkel, there was some inexplicable tension between the two. Theo said something about Mr. Henkel feeling off and always hated it whenever I had something to do with him. Though it might just be jealousy in disguise. You know I'm right. Even if he's barely in the newspapers, he's most likely at the pinnacle of high society. And I don't think he'll mind if I ask him a few things about this. Why, of course, he's always got a soft spot for you. Hell, he's probably carrying a torch for you for a long time, judging by the way he follows you everywhere. Well, he happened to be interested in Faeology and has a lot of money to allow its development. Look at you, all ready to defend him. What are you, two an item now? I might have steered this reunion back to where we were months ago by bringing up Mr. Henkel. But it was necessary to mention him. I don't know anyone else who would have that much information about high society. Fairy stole the iron from his blood. Oh my god. Sucked it out. Just like the problem with inertia. Besides, there's never really been anything, even if we did go to fundraising events together from time to time. It was strictly business. Yet again, Theo seems to lose his reason whenever we talk about Mr. Henkel. I don't have the time or the energy to argue with him. What should I do? Let's explain the truth about the relationship with Mr. Henkel. He's not gonna care about it, but I don't really give a fuck. There's a bunch of iron in the human body that the inertia could suck out, like Magneto. Yeah, just like that scene in, is it X-Men 2? Where Magneto's in, like, the plastic prison, and then Mystique injects a security guard's butt with, like, metal. The scene was so cool. Anyway, we're not anything. We go to fundraising events from time to time, but these are work. I've got to get money from my research from somewhere, you know. Our relationship is strictly business. Gives me a dirty look. Sure, I believe you. No, he doesn't. Besides, what I do with him is none of your beeswax. His voice becomes even more irritated. That's right. It's not my concern. Do whatever you want with him. Just make sure he can keep his mouth shut about the case. Never watched all these movies? Just clips? The original X-Men trilogy is pretty good, I think. Yeah, basically that. I'll try and find the clip for you later. It's good. That's one way to put it, Mal. But you know what? I can't argue with it. I can't help but groan at this turn of events. I will. While we're on the subject of useful allies, you mentioned before about blood that doesn't contain iron. I can take the blood samples to the university's chemist. She's good at what she does. And she's from a rich family. She might know of some of the victims, or their families at least. I'll trust your judgment. I take it this is you agreeing to help with the case? That's right. There are lives at stake. He lets out a soft smile, as though in quiet agreement with what I said. Thank you. Well, if you think it'll be helpful, you can even ask the people you mentioned what they know using the evidence items. But the case files are for your eyes only. Understood? He's fallen silent somehow, leaving an uncomfortable hush in the air once more. Suddenly, a realization comes to mind. Does this mean you'd be willing to hear about fairies? About Faeology? That depends. If this was indeed fairy doings, and if through your investigation you can provide solid theories on 3 things: the culprit, their method of murder, and their motives. Supported by evidence, of course. I'm sticking with the idea that there's a logical explanation, an earthly one, for now. Fair enough. I'd wager that we have approximately 24 hours to get some kind of answer, an answer that makes sense. I can feel the papers are getting close to the story. While you're investigating this lead, I'll look further into unusual drugs and poisons. How about it, Faeologist? Do you dare take on this challenge? Do I? I'll help even without being challenged. Even without being challenged, I'll still help you, you know? He stares at me impassively. Of course I know. Oh wait, no, that was one... No. Oh no. I just meant that in a smug way, but... No. Oh no. I didn't mean it like I would help him. Rip. Well, if you need anything from me, you can just ring me. Very well. But you need to promise me that you'll not just hear me out, but also keep an open mind on fairy topics if I succeed in what you asked. I promise. But I can't promise not to scoff from time to time. That's good enough. Now to get going. Maybe this will be an opportunity for you to increase Faeology's credibility in the eyes of the academics. Maybe. Seems like some detective has been following the tiny part of Faeology in the newspaper. Says you. The one who had to stop the daily paper subscription just because some detective kept getting the headlines. How do you... Before I could finish, he'd walked towards the door and opened it. See you tomorrow around the same time. I hear the door closed. Hey! I exclaim with a hint of frustration. After some thought, I realized that he must have noticed the missing newspaper in my desk and my assistant's. Reading papers was part of my daily routine when we were together. I can only shake my head in disbelief. He hasn't changed much either. As I'm reminiscing about a few moments of our past relationship, Oz reveals themselves again now that we're all alone. That was quite the reunion. It was quite the reunion indeed. He hasn't changed at all, has he? I suppose. Although you don't have an obligation to help him. I know. I've already agreed. Very well. Just don't overwork yourself. Yeah. Thanks, Oz. I find myself slowly drifting into thoughts. A victim's manner of death, hardening into bony tissue, could be one of the fairy curses, ossification. If only I could ask Oz whether a fairy was behind this, and which one, but it is not that simple. Even if they are my longtime companion, fairies have their own rules about exchanging favors, and they are secretive about their land, too. A favor like that doesn't come cheap. At least I'm stocked up on milk and honey for small requests. Speaking of requests, I should get started on a reply to my patron's letter. For some reason, he seems to be more insistent this time that I come with him to the gala. I retrieve a paper and a pen, and I mumble to myself as I write. Dear Mr. Henkel, I hope your recent forays into high society have proven more fruitful than they have in... Should I be hyperbolic? No, be realistic. This doesn't seem like a guy who gets metaphors. More fruitful than they have in the half a decade or so you've been alive. We're gonna need to find a new source of funding. Believe it or not, I've been considering whether the merits of trying to impress the wealthiest folk of the city outweigh the obvious indignities. You first brought up the possibility of my accompanying you to the annual Leos Gallery a couple of months ago, and I'm still weighing my options. How do I want to play this? Be apologetic. I still don't have a definitive answer for you at present, I'm afraid. I sincerely apologize for my indecisiveness. About Ruthie, I can't say I'm surprised to hear about her latest flirtations with disaster. Since we were both toddlers, she's frequently found herself in trouble. Her fiery personality certainly doesn't help her get out of quarrels. I would love to telephone her and ask her how she's doing, but we drifted apart a long time ago. Nevertheless, I'm glad to hear that Theo was there to help smooth things over for her. I've now arrived at the topic of Theo, or Detective Kraus, as my patron refers. I suppose his query was meant to uncover whether I still care for Theo. How should I answer? He and I are old news, baby! As for Theo, I've long since stopped dwelling on him. I've thought of him and I as a relic of the past, and I feel no regret in having ended it when I did. Upon signing off, I sealed the letter with wax. I then turned towards my trusted Fae. Oz, can I please trouble you with something? You want me to deliver the letter to your patron, don't you? Indeed, time is of the essence here. As always, please take care not to catch anybody's attention. He'll see it by tomorrow morning, I'm sure. It would be my pleasure. Thank you, Oz. I'm off. I'll see you later today. I watch as Oz flits out of my office window and vanishes. Once the Fae is gone, I call my assistant to my office. Yes, Professor? Hold on 1 second. I rifle through the contents of the box. Carefully, I extract the blood samples that Theo mentioned. They appear to be stored in test tubes. Would you mind asking Dr. Rayford to analyze these blood samples? I'll do that, sure. As I hand the samples to her, I notice that she looks like she wants to say something. Over the 2 years we've been working together, I picked up a few of her tells. What is it, Minnie? How did it go with the detective? If you don't mind me asking. Oh, no, not at all. He's the same as always. There's lingering beef, of course, but we've sort of managed to put it aside for something more important. He has brought me a rather significant case that he suspects might have supernatural elements, as hard as it was for him to admit it. Oh, good for him. I can't help but grin at her remark. I'm glad it didn't end in a shouting match, at least. Yeah, me too. I'll deliver the blood samples now, Professor. Thank you, Minnie. Minnie hurries out. I'm alone in my office again. Remembering the conversation about the case, I'm suddenly engulfed by inexplainable, eerie feelings. I should start the investigation right away. Drag and drop from the inventory to the desk. Okay. Select an item in the Records tab, then press the icon to open the inspector and read the thoughts you've gathered. Hover the magnifying glass over the above an evidence to access the information and see the details in it. Use the black light to see invisible things. Read the encyclopedia to gain additional information. Press the button to end the investigation. Okay, let's talk about ossification, I guess. Audrey Woodridge. Did I do this wrong? I was supposed to investigate case 1, Aubrey Woodridge. Name Audrey Woodridge, age 51 years old. Manner of death, hardening into bony tissue. From afar, the corpse looks like a carved wood statue. Time of death, around 1 p.m. Victim profile, an affluent middle-aged woman in the city. Police report. The victim reported hearing strange noises and seeing strange phenomena in the days immediately preceding her death. The interviewing officer suspected, due to the victim's strange behavior, involvement in occult matters. Forensic report. No traces of drugs or poisons from what could be extracted from the body. Further autopsy is still in progress due to the victim's manner of death. Woodridge. Now that's a familiar name. Okay. Fae and insects. All Fae kinds seem to be weak against iron, although a small amount of iron, such as in meat or blood, does not seem to ward off fairies. Beneath the black light, scribe magic appears blue, warrior magic red, and parasitic magic purple or violet. Okay. Okay, nothing in here about turning to stone, so... Okay. We've got our records. Okay, so I put the thing back in here and it... Nope. Yes, there you go. Okay. Oh, this is the first victim's crime scene. This is the first time I encounter something that could be ossification. I feel sick to my stomach. No one deserves to die like this. Hmm? Something's odd with her fingers. You say so. Blacklight wouldn't do anything here, right? No, because it's the photograph. Uh-oh. There we go. Okay. Let's pull out the other things, I guess. Name Susan Moore, age 40 years old. Manner of death, refusing to drink anything but her own blood. Time of death around 11 a.m. Victim profile, an affluent middle-aged woman in the city. Police report, the victim's mother reported that the victim was suffering from a prolonged paranoid episode in the days leading to her death. Specifically, the victim was acting erratically and saying strange things. Forensic report, despite the manner of death, there are no signs of dehydration or hemochromatosis, no traces of drugs or poisons. Blood type unknown, other blood-related investigations are on way. Note, blood does not contain iron. This seems to be the second victim's crime scene. Her hair complexion, it's not quite the pale hue of death, far paler than should be possible, almost drained of color. Hmm? Something's odd with her fingers. Does she have an extra finger? One, two, three, four, five. Oh, yeah. Extra fingers. Hello? There we go. Name Edna Niblet, age 64 years old. Manner of death, gnawing her own fingers down to the bone. Time of death around 10 a.m. Victim and profile, an affluent middle-aged woman in the city. Police report, a friend of the victim reported that she visited the victim's residence to drop off an invitation shortly prior to the victim's death. A friend also wanted to check in on the victim's well-being, as she had allegedly been acting strangely at a party the night before. According to the friend, she witnessed an emotionally charged conversation between the victim and a young factory girl. However, the friend didn't think much of the interaction at the time. At the crime scene, the invitation card dropped off by the friend was seen close to the victim's corpse and was taken in as evidence. Forensic report. No traces of drugs or poisons. Blood type unknown. Other blood-related investigations are underway. Note, blood does not contain iron. It's the third victim's crime scene. Her fingers. I've seen corpses before, but never like this. There's another strange thing about her fingers. Do they have... kind of hard to tell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, 6 fingers. The case of the 6-fingered dames, I tell you what. Alright. Name Mary Hatcher, age 19 years old. Manner of death, death from shock due to arsenic poisoning. Time of death around 6 p.m. Victim profile, a young factory girl. Okay. Note, despite not fitting the trend of the previous victim profile, she has been preliminarily included in this case because she was seen having a heated conversation with the third victim shortly before the victim's death. Police report. The victim's father described her as not acting like herself in the days before she passed. Shortly before her death, the victim visited the police station. According to the interviewing officer, she seemed to be on the brink of confessing something when a look of terror suddenly crossed her face. She then appeared to change her mind. She hurriedly left the station without saying anything further to the interviewing officer. Forensic report. Prior to death, the victim suffered from violent abdominal cramps followed by diarrhea and vomiting, consistent with the effects of arsenic poisoning. Traces of said poison can be found in blood type A and the glass she was drinking from near the time of death. Note, blood contains iron and other elements commonly found in human blood. This is the fourth victim's crime scene. Poor girl. It's a cruel thing to see youth being stolen so abruptly. She does not have 6 fingers. Okay. So we've looked at all of that. Blood is totally normal. Which, I mean, normally would be a very funny thing to include, but considering that the other blood is not, so it's probably nice to know that her blood is normal. Don't know what I'm doing here. Ah, here we go. These blessings can last through generations. The rumored Fae touch bloodlines have become wealthy and powerful through the decades that they have been favored. Okay, invisible markings such as sigils or birthmarks. 6 fingers could be that. Finally, some normal blood. I'm just imagining that said in the same kind of thing as finally some good fucking food. Some fucking good food. Smite anyone who fears. Okay. By licking it. Hey, oops. Use the black light to see invisible things. Read the encyclopedia to gain additional information, and the investigation. I think we'll end the investigation. Oh, I get to save. Well, let's end the investigation and take a look. Are you sure you want to end the investigation now? No, but I'm not sure what else to look at. I don't think the blacklight's going to tell us much of anything because it's a photograph. And I think the magnifying glass... Oh, poor girl. Yeah, okay, great. There is nothing odd in the photograph, if you say so. Okay. We'll end the investigation. I don't really know what we're supposed to be looking for. A knock on the door makes me glance up from my desk. I realize the sun is set while I've been absorbed in the investigation. Come in. My assistant enters the office. Dr. Rayford has arrived to drop off the blood samples, and she wants to talk to you. Already? Yes, she's just out the door. I must say I'm pleasantly surprised at her work speed. All right, send her in. Minnie nods. She returns to the reception area. Dr. Florence Rayford enters. It has been only 3 years since she has worked at this university, but she has proven her reliability more often than not. Good evening, Professor. Good evening, Doctor. Dr. Rayford hands over the blood samples. She also gives me her lab report. Here you go. Thank you. So what have you found? The most peculiar thing is that there is no iron in one of the blood samples. Say, is this fairy related? Her question prompts me to ask myself to what extent of the case can I divulge to her. Theo did say that I may ask the patron or her for information using some of the evidence. Although she has knowledge of fairies and their curses, can she handle seeing crime scene photographs? As I return from my thoughts, I notice her voice is taken on a higher pitch. Oh, this is so exciting! Are you working with the police? Does this mean we'll get better credibility in the eyes of the public? Oh my, we're going to be in the newspapers, aren't we? And not on the usual corner spots, too. Oh, I can hardly contain myself. It appears she took my silence as a yes. It's good that she's excited about the possibility of advancement for Faeology, but her cheerful disposition can sometimes be rather overstimulating. As if on cue, a knock on the door arrived to spare me. This specific sound is familiar, more familiar than when my assistant knocks. Special delivery. Mr. Henkel's hands are empty. And what, pray, might you be bringing to me? Is it you? Are you the special delivery, Mr. Henkel? If you wish to call me special, then I certainly won't stop you. But I did bring a box of huckleberry muffins for your office. Minerva was instantly enamored by their buttery scent. She's currently feasting on them. We can only hope she'll leave a muffin apiece for the rest of us. Oh, hello there, Florence. I didn't expect to see you in this office. Hello, Mr. Henkel. Fancy seeing you here. Although you do have a habit of making this office your sole stop on campus. She chuckles. That's just because this is where all my money went. A well-spent investment nonetheless. He makes a retort at Dr. Rayford, but throws a subtle smile in my direction. How cheeky. So, Florence? Don't mixing up my accents. Oh, fuck yeah. So, Florence, what's been occupying your time as of late? She looks at me briefly, possibly wondering whether she should tell him about what she did for me. The usual matters, I suppose. I tried asking your father about you at the last soiree. However, he confessed he didn't have the faintest idea. You must tell me more about your chemical research one of these days. The colorful pursuits of you young academics thrill me to no end. You know I can't share all that much, Mr. Henkel. Unless, of course, you find yourself in the position to become the chemistry department's benefactor. Then all their secrets are yours. A more playful giggle escapes her lips this time. I'm afraid I'm all tapped out, financially speaking. Oh, I'm not buying that one, not for a second. He's telling fibs, isn't he, Professor? Well, now, I certainly don't want to get in the middle of the money talk of the rich. I wish I had that information, Doctor. It would make proposing for research much easier, with a bit of delicate leverage, naturally. Mr. Henkel laughs in amusement. I feel I should ask the reason he's here before this conversation takes an odd turn. On another note, Mr. Henkel, did you get my letter? Is that the real reason you dropped by? Upon recalling that I asked Oz to insert the letter into his mailbox only this afternoon, I'm about to retract these questions. Unexpectedly, though, he bows his head in assent. Your words have always had this immersive. Your words have always had this immersive impact on me. Perhaps that is why you are such an effective educator. Whenever I encounter your written language, I long to hear it spoken post-haste. Are you putting a spell on your letters by any chance? I think you're the one with all the spells, Mr. Henkel. Your muffins, for one, have always been successful in getting Minnie's guards down. Oh dear, you two are making me blush. I suppose it's time I take my leave and let you both be. I'm due somewhere shortly, anyhow. Oh no, that might not be necessary. I can't stay long either. Mr. Henkel lapses into silence as he continues staring into my eyes. It's difficult to maintain eye contact with him, but even harder to look away. I wonder what I should do. I ought to discuss the case, but both of them seem to be in a hurry. Should I tell Mr. Henkel to return another day since I have an important conversation with Dr. Rayford right away? Or should I just miss the chemist and meet with my patron now? There are benefits to either choice. Soliciting Dr. Rayford's opinion on the case may be a good idea. She could share more insight on the chemistry side of the case. Her parents own a successful company that produces the powder makeup in evidence. She would also know the societal happenings among the wealthy elites. On the other hand, Mr. Henkel is also a viable candidate for an interview. His connections with the high society know no bounds. Everyone seems to know him one way or another. He might know things Dr. Rayford doesn't. Since he's been funding my research for a long time, he's also more familiar with varied topics. Whom should I interview? I can't. Oh wait, no, I had to Skype to make a save. Right, who we gonna interview? Make the vote now on your phones. Except I'm too lazy to make a poll, so just tell me in chat. Do that while I stretch and grab some more tea. Oh. Henkel. One vote Henkel. Anybody else with a different vote, speak now or forever hold your peace. The detail left out of weighing these options, woman. Henkel's the guy? Did you mean to vote for Dr. Rayford? Okay, so you actually meant to vote for Dr. Rayford. That's fair enough. I wasn't paying attention to their names. Understandable. Well, no one else has given us a given us a vote, so Dr. Rayford it is. Dr. Rayford, would you mind staying a little longer? I'd like to hear your opinion about something. Dr. Rayford glances at me and then at Mr. Henkel and then back at me with a glimmer of mischief in her smile. Are you sure, Professor? I let out a resigned sigh. Sometimes it can be quite difficult to deal with her teasing. Yes. When I address my patron once more, regret colors my tone. Mr. Henkel, would you mind coming back another day? I have something I have something crucial to discuss with the doctor at present. Of course, I understand your scientific pursuits precede all else. I wouldn't have it any other way. Thank you for dropping off those muffins. He only replies with a smile. I'll see you soon, right? As soon as possible, I promise. Dr. Hengful and Dr. Rayford exchange brief goodbyes. My patron then departs. I'm alone with the chemist again. Doctor, I might need your further assistance regarding the blood samples and also something more pressing. So it is true. You are working with the police. I suppose. Dr. Krauss consulted me this morning about an ongoing criminal case. Oh, do I sense some old flame flickering back to life? Your eyes are tricking you, Doctor. It has been ashes for a long time now, and nothing has changed. There was a hint of disbelief in her eyes, but I won't indulge in her playful teasing as there is a more important matter at hand. I clear my throat. So I would also like to ask you for information, as you may be acquainted with some of the victims or their friends and families. All right. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have. Thank you, although I do need your sworn secrecy on this. Of course. I'm adept at keeping secrets. You need not worry. These samples I analyzed are part of the evidence in this case, right? That's right. Let us begin. I tell her the fundamental facts of the case while she listens silently all the while. When I finish my summation, she has only one word to say to me. Interesting. Old coin. When did we get that? Oh, okay, this is just stuff we have. Lab report. I've done my best to put all the details there, though I might have missed something regarding the curious blood sample. Okay. What about Niblet's blood sample? Ah, yes, the most intriguing piece of evidence. It's weird, isn't it, that it doesn't contain iron at all, even though it looks just like human blood. Not to mention the high percentage of phosphorus. Would you let me know if it ended up being a fairy after all? Only if I'm allowed. Is there any insight from chemistry as to why there'd be no iron in a red-colored blood? Sadly, no. I'm just as puzzled myself. What about the other blood sample from Mary Hatcher? I found traces of arsenic in this blood sample. Yes, that was reported by the forensics team too. One wonders who could have done such a thing to the poor girl. Actually, chemists do sell arsenic to common people to make their own weed killer and rat poison. I haven't done that in some time, not since the university contract. But I'm sure the detective has asked his henchmen to collect purchase records from chemists all over the city, don't you think? Oh. Yeah, sure, I'll tell. Please help me get out of this invitation to the gala. This is tomorrow's gala. I'll not be going since the opera is playing. I didn't know you're into opera, Doctor. My late husband and I used to go there for one of our date nights. Sadness leaks through her eyes even though her smile stays bright. I hadn't the faintest idea she'd been married before. Speaking of which, I spotted Detective Krause at the Met during last month's performance. He appeared to be enjoying the opera, accompanied by an attractive, tall, blonde woman. It was quite the unexpected sight. I never took him for an admirer of opera. Well, that's a new one on me. Ring. Ring. My, are you proposing to me, Professor? I'm afraid my heart still belongs to my late husband. I can hear sorrow sweeping through her peppy voice. Quietly, I slip the ring back into the box. I guess we're just trying everything. Too bad we don't have a detective medal. Well, you'll know about makeup. Ah, my parents' greatest achievement. It's one of the things I wanted to ask you, Doctor. I don't know much about makeup. How popular is this powder among high society? The powder has been the craze lately among the upper class since my parents have successfully gotten Mary Pickford to do its advertisement. Well, I'll be. Great, that's all you can tell us? Old coin. I've never seen this kind of coin before. Is it rare? Well, I guess I'm showing you... I know, I should probably just show you the family photos first. How about the Woolridge family photo? This is a family photograph of the Woolridges. Ah, yes, it was everywhere in the papers when her father married the famous and one of the most... When her father married the famous and one of the most beautiful socialites. The other man here is Mrs. Woolridge's stepbrother. Do you know anything about these people? Aside from being fabulously wealthy and well-known, not particularly. More family photo. This is Mrs. Moore and her family. Could you tell me what you know of them? Well, I've heard that when Mrs. Moore's biological parents passed away, she was adopted by her parents as trusted employees from which she received a lot of love. These employees couldn't have children, you see. Her biological parents left her a substantial inheritance, which she received when she came of age. Then she was married, out of love, to a wealthy entrepreneur. They were hand in hand wherever they went. It's a sad thing, her luck seemed to slip away just when she needed it most. Dr. Rayford seems to know about Mrs. Moore needs to know more about Mrs. Moore than she let on earlier. While she sounds quite sympathetic, I can somehow detect a hint of jealousy in her voice. Well, you don't have to worry, because she's dead. Here you go. Mrs. Moore! She seems to recognize the victim quite fast. We've met once or twice at a clothing store and exchanged a few pleasantries. Occasionally I would see her and her husband at various dinner parties as well. Oh, they were a lovely couple. About Woolridge. There is no sound to be heard as she stares at the photograph for a little while. I wonder if it is too much for her. Is this Mrs. Woolridge? It's a little difficult to recognize her because of the... well... She speaks with her usual sunny lilt, which is quite surprising. Lilt. Soroka. Lilt. I guess she has got a strong stomach. Yes, you're correct. What do you know of her? Everyone knows her and her family, that's pretty sure. They're one of the richest in the city, the elites of the elites. Accordingly, their circle consists of only very selected people, such as your patron, I imagine. Oh, and their family likes to host charity events. Do you ever know her to dabble in occult matters? Unfortunately, what I told you previously is all I know about her. If she did dabble, do you think maybe her manner of death is a result of occult matters? It certainly is a possibility. Well, the trauma continues. Here's Niblet. Oh, yes, I know her, though I can't seem to recall her name. Mrs. Niblet. That's right. I saw her quite often at the auction, only going for rare coins. As usual, the winning bid was hers. I wonder if some of those coins carried some sort of curse, since they came from God knows where. That's where the coin is from, okay. And also, finally, Mary Hatcher. Do you happen to know this girl? Unfortunately, no, I don't know her. It's surprising that she seemed rather unfazed by quite the gruesome photographs. I wonder if she'd seen worse death caused by chemicals. Though even if I had seen worse, I doubt I could muster such cheer. I've never realized this peculiar side of her. Well, we've run out of things to give her, so let's end the interview. Are you sure you have gotten all the information you need? God, I don't know, but I'm going to confirm anyway. I have no further questions. I believe I have enough information for now. Is that so? Well, all right. Earlier you mentioned you had a prior arrangement, so I won't keep you any longer. Thank you for your time. You've been incredibly helpful. Oh, it's no problem. Don't hesitate to reach out if you require anything else. I give her a brief nod. Dr. Rayford then departs from my office. I'm alone again, but not for long. My assistant pops into the office. Professor, I'm heading home soon. Is there anything else I can do to help? No, I'll be perfectly fine. I think I'll stay and work for a bit longer. Okay, see you tomorrow, Professor. Have a safe trip home. Upon wishing me the same, Minnie leaves. I have some time until I have to wrap up my workday and head home from the office. Okay. Get that black light out. Ooh. We got purple. What does purple mean for us again? Scale of values. This is parasite magic. Okay. That's Niblet. Okay, so now let's look at the other one. Yeah, nothing. Makes sense. How does that sound? Arsenic, huh? Yep. I've read somewhere that most insects don't have iron in their blood. That's true. I guess it makes sense. Invitation. Request the honor of your presence at the annual Leo Scala, Saturday, October 20th of October. 8 o'clock in the evening. Formal attire requested. What Dr. Rayford had said about Theo comes to mind. I wonder if he has moved on after all. Oh my god, can you stop thinking about your ex? This is Dr. Rayford's lab report on the blood samples. The content is quite similar to the forensic report. While elements similarly found in human blood, such as phosphorus, carbohydrates, and some proteins, are found in the third victim's blood, it doesn't contain iron. More, however, the amount of phosphorus found is in a higher percentage than that of human blood, making it possible for the blood be the blood of a fairy. The fourth victim's blood appears to be normal human blood with iron present. Traces of arsenic are also found. Although there is some new information, I had expected the report to be more detailed. Then again, I did ask her to finish it as soon as possible, and she delivered. What if blacklight? No, of course not. Alright. I guess we could, we didn't blacklight this thing. No, of course not. That away, let's get the ring out. I can't even begin to imagine how her husband must feel, losing his soulmate this way. We got more purple magic. Parasites. I don't think we have anything new to... Yeah. Okay, so we've got a couple new photographs, also makeup. No surprise this powder has been all the rage with the upper set. They managed to get Mary Pickford for the advertisements. That must have been where I knew it from. Blacklight it? Nothing, yeah. Didn't think so. Yes, I didn't mean to do that. Oop. Old coin. Never seen a coin like this. It looks rare. But does it have fairy magic? It does. What is happening? Uh-oh. I've seen this before. This is a parasitic fae. A failed transformation magic? Zap it again. Burn it. There's no mistaking it. The structure of the thorax, antennae, curvature, elongated legs, they are exactly the same as the parasitic fae I cataloged several months ago. What happened to you, poor fae? Of course, no response is forthcoming. I'm just gonna set that aside. Actually, I guess stick it back in my pocket. Lacks one of its wings. The missing wing was likely ripped out before its death. Phase of the parasitic class. Confirmed violet traces. It also shows some traces of red. Well, let's look at the Moore family photo. The man in the darker suit seems to be the husband of the victim, the woman with the pearls. He's supposedly close to his in-laws. This must mean the other two are the victim's adoptive parents. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, makes sense. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Oh, I'm counting fingers like I'm on the hunt for an AI-generated image, even though this image isn't AI-generated or anything. The particular people in here have 6 fingers. It's hard to tell. I wouldn't imagine. Wait, what's this on her other hand? Oh! We got blue magic. How does that work? Blue magic is scribe, I think? Yes. I don't know either. I think it probably explains in the blacklight. It's in the entry for the blacklight. The intricate use of iron combined with physics and chemistry is applied by Faeologists to develop a special blacklight to detect and distinguish the magical essence of the three main types of Fae. Okay, I don't know how that works on photographs, but I'm not going to worry about that. That's some magic. So this middle-aged woman in the colored blouse and the elder man in the suit are father and daughter related by blood. And the other two are the stepmother and stepbrother. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Kind of hard to tell. But also, let's get the black light. Oh, yep. I saw something on their hands. Oh, yep. They've both been blessed. All right. Nope. 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 No. Interesting. What do we have left to investigate? I think that's everything, unless we're gonna start putting random stuff under the black light. No, didn't think so. Okay. So, the wing was ripped off by... Yes, thank you. The wing was ripped off by... warrior magic, but it's otherwise a parasitic thing. That's at least what I could determine. Yeah. What does that sound? Okay. And this Niblet blood has both warrior and scribe in it. Interesting. I think that's all we're gonna get from here. Whew. Sure you want to end the investigation? Yeah. Let's see if we can't make a couple steps into the investigation, and we'll probably end this demo pretty soon here, if I'm gonna press through to the next one. It's the next afternoon. I should be grading assignments, or reviewing the lecture I'm going to deliver come Monday, or do anything productive in the realm of professorial duties. Instead, I find my attention straying more and more towards the office door. I voice my frustrations to good old Oz. Theo will probably arrive at any moment. I can't stop wondering whether my explanation will be enough for him. In the past, no sort of explanation ever seemed to please him when it came to fairies. And why should it do so now? My voice cracks with concern. This time, he came to you bearing in mind the possibility of fairy involvement. He'd be a fool if he discredits you so soon. My fairy companion's tripping becomes increasingly stern this time. But you need to get yourself together. You must remain steadfast and strong when facing the detective. Don't permit your voice to falter when presenting your findings. I know, I can't let myself unravel at this point. It's just that he's never solicited my opinion quite in this manner. A professional insight, no less. All the more reason to be calm as you can be. Maintaining your composure is essential to delivering a persuasive argument. But no matter what happens, at least you'll know you tried. At the end of the day, he's the one who needs to solve his case. You're right, of course you are. I'm not a detective, I'm simply a professor sharing my perspective. Thank you, Oz, for always talking me off the ledge. Just then, someone knocks on the door. That's my cue to sail past your window ledge. Best of luck! I whisper a hurried goodbye to my fairy friend. I'll see you tonight, Oz. Once Oz has flown out, I direct my attention towards the door. Come in. My assistant marches in. Professor, you have a visitor. The detective? Minnie nods. All right, send him in. Minnie nods once again and walks out of the room. Theo then paces around a little bit after strolling in. He appears quite distracted. He finally stops and opens his mouth. So, what have you learned? I take a deep breath. Here it goes. I have to present my findings to perhaps the most sought-after detective in the police force. Theo investigates cases where the crime scenes unfolded. He's agonizing familiar with the grit and grime of the city's darkest recesses. Meanwhile, as a professor, my expertise primarily revolves around the nebulous, the theoretical. I must do my best to stay calm and collected, just as Oz suggested. I've read the case files. Victims' odd behavior shortly before their death could be due to hypnotic spells from fairies. The fourth victim went to the police station, but before she said anything, it seemed that she saw something that scared her away. What if she saw something not human? And the manner of death... He interrupts me before I can finish. I have no time for assumptions. The papers telephoned our department this morning, said they found out about some of these deaths. So that's why he looks agitated. The chief is preparing a statement for tomorrow regarding this. So I'll just cut to the chase. Is there fairy involvement? Yes. Yes, I'm certain of it. I can tell his interest is piqued. However, I'd like to lay out first the basics, since I'm pretty sure you've discarded the things I've told you in the past. He grumbles as an admission of my statement. So far, we've identified 3 classes of fairies: warrior, scribe, and parasitic fae. Warriors have strong offensive magic, scribe's magic tends to be defensive, and parasitic magic is, well, parasitic. We Faeologists have developed a tool called Blacklight to detect traces of fae magic. It can be detected even through photographs if the magic is especially strong. Okay. Warrior magic glows red, scribe magic blue, and parasitic magic shines purple. I found that seemingly fairies of one specific class are behind this. Which one is the culprit? Parasitic? They're of the parasitic class. What is the evidence? The dead fae. Or the third victim's blood sample. How does this prove parasitic involvement? I slot the blood sample beneath the blacklight to show the magic traces. You see, it glows under the blacklight. I can see the purple traces, but what about this red glow? I'm taking a moment to collect my thoughts. You're right, I must have missed it. What else you got? The ring? How does this prove parasitic involvement? Place the ring underneath the blacklight. You see, Mrs. Moore's ring glows purple under the blacklight. But what about this red glow? He's right. How did I not see this? Okay, alright. Warrior versus parasitic fae gang war. I think you're right, Mel. All aside, the look on his face says it all. He's profoundly disappointed. I swallow back a lump rising in my throat. Clearly, you haven't been thorough in your investigation. Either you're missing important things, or you just didn't take this as seriously as I thought. But I do take it seriously. If I could just reinvestigate... It's hard to get any sentences out of my mouth. No words of mine could ease the way he sees me now. It doesn't matter. We're running out of time. I couldn't find proof of being unusual drugs or poisons either. Even the most atypical drugs don't cause this kind of bizarre hallucinations. No poisons could turn the whole body into hardened bones. His eyes narrow on me, full of quiet accusations. Honestly, I can't believe this. You've dedicated many, many years to the study of forensic Faeology, and this is all you have to show for it? I know you're clever, capable, competent, but you ought to consider changing your field. You're not cut out for forensics. I feel like I'm starting to see red. I can't believe he's bringing up my profession this way. I know I messed up, but you just crossed a goddamn line. He knows I tried my best, given the limited time, but he just keeps hammering away. It hits me all over again how easy it is for him to make me feel really small. I'm just laying down the facts. He says it so nonchalantly, as if he doesn't see the effect of his opinion on me. I can't do this anymore. My anger is beyond containment. I never want to see you again. Get out. Fine by me. I don't plan on ever coming back to this office anyhow. Upon picking up the box of evidence, Theo turns to leave. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. He slams it. I find myself striding restlessly in my room, seething with frustration. Perhaps this is for the best. After all, there's a reason I walked away, and it's all coming back to me. As I was steadying my breast to calm down, I realized something. I haven't explained Dr. Rutherford's findings on the blood sample, how it could be fairy blood, and the significance of the scribe spells on prominent families. She gave me additional information, too, on the victims as well as the popularity of the makeup. I didn't have the chance to tell him all that. Well, so be it. I'm not going to write him or telephone him. Perhaps I'll just write an anonymous letter to the homicide department. But first I had to finish grading the assignments I neglected yesterday. It's been an hour and a half since I forced myself to get back to work, yet my anger hasn't subsided. Then it strikes me. I'm no more angry at Theo than I am at myself. How did I fail this? Why wasn't I thorough enough? Still, that doesn't give him the right to talk to me like that. I bury my face in my hands as I've realized that I've merely been spinning in circles. Professor, is this a bad time? I look up at her in shock. When did she get in? All the six are parasitic Fae. They're blessed by scribes though, which begs the question of like, so like all three of them had something to do with it, but like there's, I don't know. Because like the sigils on their hands are blue, and the scribe's magic's blessing can last through generations and appears through birthmarks, which can include 6 fingers. So I knocked, then waited for a minute. It then occurred to me that perhaps you didn't hear me. Oh, sorry. My mind is more than a little preoccupied. The detective had an intensely brooding expression when he left. I figured the meeting didn't go well. I can stay longer today if you need to talk. Thanks, Minnie. I am not sure about talking, but I could use some company. Of course, Professor. Would you like me to fetch us a bottle? Sure. Any preference? Whichever bottle is biggest, or whichever has the highest alcoholic content. We became an alcoholic! And the world doesn't know about fairies. Okay. Well, that seems like a good place to end it. If you want to do better than I did at investigating, well, you can download the demo right now, I think. I'm pretty sure you can download the demo. I don't think this is one of the ones where they gave me a pre-access one. No, you can download it right now. You can succeed where I failed. Help the world find out about fairies. Give it a try, and if it seems like it's the kind of game that you'd like to play, wishlist it. I think this is definitely one that I might keep an eye on, because the localization is infinitely better. Oh, I wasn't tripping over every single sentence. That's not fair. I wasn't, but just a lot better as far as excuse me, a lot better as far as reading. Oh god, my mouth is very tired, but yes. That's, I think, where we'll end that one. Oh, I think, yeah, I can definitely tell what they mean when they say like a couple UI bugs, but other than that, it seems pretty solid. I probably should have made more saves, but that's okay. I'm just gonna pretend that I screwed up on purpose, like those mobile ads that we talked about earlier. I'm so bad at games, oh no! Hurry, download the game and do better than me. Show me how incompetent I am. Wink, wink. Nudge, nudge. Anyway, let's take another break, and then we will be back with our final game for tonight. But I'm going to take a break, and I'm going to make sure to actually properly mute my thing this time. Okay, bye-bye. I didn't actually I didn't actually start an ad break. Oh god, I'm falling apart. I also didn't I also realized I didn't change the logo for the game I was playing because I'm a professional streamer who gets money from people to do this. Oh, oops. So, we're playing Night Cascades. The previous game, in case you were like staring at the in case you were staring at the excuse me, in case you were staring at the the now playing sign and not the actual game. It's called Death in Faeology, and it'll be released soon. That's the game we were just playing. Okay, time to switch to the time to switch to the one that we're doing now, which is called Night Cascades, and it's by Hanako Games, who have published a couple of notable, or sorry, not published, developed a couple of notable games, such as Long Live the Queen and I want to call it Black Mirror. I don't think that's quite correct. I think it's called Black Closet. That's the name of it. But this is a new one that is releasing, I believe. Oh no, never mind. It is ouch. It released 3 years ago. This is called Nice Cascades. The city is on fire and the devil is to blame. Or is it? Two women must solve an occult-themed mystery set in an alternate 1980s while unraveling the secrets of their past. Hunt for clues and interrogate suspects in this interactive Yuri visual novel. So, once again, we've got Yuri, everybody. Alright, let us continue. Oh, yeah. Let's see if I can get this to be full screen. Yeah, I did. Why isn't it showing up? It's showing up. Okay, cool. Turn up the text speed a little bit. I need to do this. I need to turn down the game volume. Suggestive content. I'm gonna turn that off. Because, can't have that here on Twitch. Alright, let us begin with Hanako. Darn, I know. That's okay, you've got us covered for suggestive content, though. Another reason for us to get the game. So true. On an ordinary evening in Nampa, Idaho, a woman is alone in her kitchen heating up soup on the stovetop for a late dinner. Distracted by the radio and her daily cares, she reaches out for the handle of the pot, forgetting in that moment that the pot has no insulation and that she has taken off her oven gloves. She screams in pain as a stripe burns across her right palm. At that very moment, hundreds of miles away in Maine, her mother is awoken from a sound sleep by a mysterious pain in her right hand. Science has no explanation for these events. They would have you dismiss such connection as coincidence. But for just 3 easy installments of $19.95, you too can explore the mysteries, paranormality, 13th Q Avenue, Oswick, TA. Which one is TA? Tennessee is TN. I'm sorry, I don't know states at all. 10-day money-back guarantee. Allow 4 to 6 weeks for delivery. Void where prohibited. No cash on delivery. Return. I open the office door and make my way inside, feeling unreasonably apprehensive. Hello? Ah, hello, Diane. Glad you could make it. He stands from his desk and walks over to shake my hand in greeting. I hope you found your way in all right? Oh, yes, the lady at the front desk was very welcoming. She told me where to go. I've never been inside a police department before. I never did any sort of crime as a child, and I've always been lucky enough never to be a victim as an adult. I'm the sort that usually stays out of trouble. Because of that, because of history and personal reasons, the idea of the police has always been a little frightening. If I didn't know Mr. Williams already, I'm not sure I would have dared to step inside. This art style is, in fact, very good. It's quieter than I imagined. Cleaner as well, though I wouldn't tell Mr. Williams that. It really looks a lot like any other big office out there, with all the workers in jackets and ties shuffling their papers. And a nice gentleman in the big room asked if I needed help and called me ma'am. It was very affirming. Professional manners are a requirement in this department, ma'am. Being called ma'am makes me feel like I need to check my face for wrinkles. I'm not that old. I make pouting eyes at him, and he returns a tolerant chuckle. Don't the kids call you that at school? The students call me Miss. There's a difference. Miss Carter for the older grades, Miss Diane for the kindergartners, and I generally prefer them. Anyway, I'm only a substitute teacher. Most of the time it's just me and my writing. Ah, right, you're an author. So when's your next book due out? This is what I'm always saying to authors. Not for a while. I've got things in the works, but, you know, books don't finish themselves overnight. God, if only. They don't pay for themselves overnight either. One third of the advance when I sign a contract, 1/3 when they accept my manuscript, and the last third doesn't come until the book is published. By the end of the year. No worries, Mal. We're patiently waiting. I can't control that last part no matter how fast I work. Editing, cover art, printing, delivery, that's all out of my hands. There's a lot of waiting. And since I'm filing in absences, my work with the school system is unpredictable. So is the babysitting. Folks don't need me all the time. So I'm very excited about this opportunity. Timmy's last trip to the vet didn't do wonders for my household budget. He's worth every penny, of course, but it was much more than I wanted to spend. Coupon clipping can only do so much. Timmy the dog? Yes, my baby. I've got pictures right here. I fish my wallet out of my purse and flip through the plastic protector pages. Oh, Timmy! Very good dog. Look at that smile. Isn't he precious? Oh, I remember that little ball of fluff. You brought him over once or twice when you were sitting Kizzy. Shelty, right? More or less. I've never worried that much about pedigree. Timmy is my best friend. That's all that matters. That's a lie, I'm not. That's okay, Mal. You do not need to work hard for that. We'll read it when it's ready. I tuck the wallet away and adjust the strap on my shoulder, getting everything in respectable order. Mr. Williams, I wanted to say I really appreciate you thinking of me as a source and an expert. Folklore studies so often get overlooked in terms of its applications. Especially these days with so many police departments turning to con artists and bored housewives who call themselves psychic. Ever since that Allison Mayberry had a vision and told the sheriffs in Montana where they could find this kidnapped little girl, paranormal activity has been all the rage. Every lawn club lady wants to believe her champagne dreams might have some deep hidden meaning. Personally, I just think Mrs. Mayberry happened to see the kidnapper driving that child around the state in his pickup truck. And when she called in for the reward, she made up the story about a vision so she could drive attention to her fortune-telling business. It worked, too. I hear her client list is now like a who's who of Hollywood. Even the government wants her advice on deals and diplomacy. And by now, the Soviets probably have their own Mrs. Mayberry reading tea leaves behind the Iron Curtain to retaliate. I'm not being mean. I don't hate Allison Mayberry. I respect her skill at marketing. My agent only wishes I could attract that kind of attention. And of course I'm glad that little girl was saved before something unspeakable could happen to her. It doesn't change the fact that psychic powers are still a bunch of hooey. I'm glad you're not taken in by all that flim-flam. Actually, Kizzy's taking one of those correspondence courses to get her psychic certificates after high school. She just told me She told me that when there's bad juju on a case, it would be dangerous to bring a sensitive on board. Wouldn't want an investigator to wind up possessed by demons. Right. Is he suggesting that I only got this job because an over-imaginative teenager recommended me as the least sensitive expert available? So, what exactly is the situation? What is the case? I'll tell you more when Jack gets here. Jack? Jack is the partner you'll be working with in the field to keep you safe. Oh dear. That could be uncomfortable, especially if he's one of those old-fashioned types who thinks ladies should only see a sanitized version of reality. I wouldn't be able to investigate anything that way. But then, I don't really want to get into anything dangerous either. Your job is to be smart and follow orders, so don't get crazy and try to play hero, you hear? Who, me?
Kizzy always said you're much fiercer than you look. Suppose you'd have to be, or you wouldn't last long as a sub. Those kids can be vicious.
Oh, they're not so bad. Even the troublemakers usually just want someone to pay attention. No? There's a sound at the door, probably the detective that Mr. Williams said was coming.
Ah, there she is.
She? You wouldn't last long as a sub. I would not. The door opens and she walks in. She could have stepped right off a recruitment poster. Long legs, broad shoulders, black hair, straight and thick and sleek. Light brown skin still untouched by time and scars. She walks like a woman in complete control of her body. Never surprised, never vulnerable. The very model of a woman warrior. And far too familiar. Jackie. Hello, Diane. Her eyes meet mine, cold and blue, giving nothing away. She closes the door behind her, sealing us all into the office together.
You two know each other?
Yeah, we went to the same college. Oh my word, she is gorgeous. I can't stop staring. This is so unfair. I'm not even wearing my cute shoes. But why should I care about what she thinks? I doubt she's even looking. At my shoes, I mean. I know she's looking at me. And I can't look away. She holds out her hand to me to shake, all business.
It's good to see you again.
Likewise.
Well, saves me the trouble of introductions. Let's get down to business.
He brings out a manila folder filled with papers, photographs, and blocky black and white Xeroxes of handwritten reports.
We're so pathetic.
Yeah!
Over the past month, there have been several reports of small fires set in wooded areas. Never too deep in the backwoods, always near neighborhoods.
He lays down a map and taps several locations.
Looks like campfires, but not in any designated camping areas, so people were sent around to investigate for fire safety. Weather's been pretty wet lately, so the risk wasn't high, but we couldn't count on that.
Only you can prevent forest fires. I don't laugh.
We figured it was most likely kids, or maybe a tramp. Been more folks homeless since they slashed the HUD budget.
He runs his blunt fingers over the papers, hunting for some signal in the fringes, and works loose a few sheets with photographs clipped to them.
Crew came back, said they found something weird in the fires. Bones, funny symbols, the devil's work.
Not everything that falls outside of the Judeo-Christian...
That's how the crew told it to me, so that's how I'm telling it to you.
I close my mouth.
And now there's this new thing reported. Shop's been vandalized with symbols painted all over the windows. Owner insisted on cleaning it up ASAP so it didn't drive off her customers, but we've got pictures of what it looked like fresh. You probably want to go talk to her, see if she knows anything. Address and phone number are here.
He looks at me, his normally warm eyes serious.
You're my expert here. Is this stuff connected? What does it all mean? Who's behind it? And what do we do to make it stop? Y'all know how worked up people can get about witchcraft. We don't want things getting out of hand.
He jerks his chin in Jackie's direction.
Jack's job is to look official, act tough, ask questions, run any data you need through the system, and keep you out of trouble. Don't take stupid chances. Let Jack protect you. I don't want to hear you got yourself shot or stabbed or had some blood curse on your firstborn.
I'm sure I'm in safe hands. I wish that were true.
All right, then. I'll let the two of you plan out your strategy.
Right, Captain.
You give Timmy a cuddle for me, you hear?
Yes, sir. Mr. Williams. Captain?
It'll do.
He walks out and closes the door behind him, leaving us in semi-privacy. Sound, at least, should be blocked, but the glass windows on the walls leave us still in view of other detectives. I suppose the police don't want anyone to be able to move around inside an office undetected. So, here we are. Just the two of us. Hi. Hey. You're looking well. That sounds brainless, doesn't it? How have you been? Can't complain. I wait for her to ask the same question in response, but she says nothing. Is your family well?
Far as I know.
And again, she stays silent. She doesn't even look at me. I can't believe this. I have suffered through publishing, wine, and cheese nights, my great aunt's birthday party, and even PTA meetings, and small talk was never this excruciating. Well, there's no need for my best manners here, is there? Did you know it was me that you were going to be assigned to? Did you know I was here before you walked through that door? Yeah, but I didn't tell the boss I knew you. Do they know that you're... No. Nobody knows. It's what I expected, really. Mr. Williams is a nice man, but the world is what it is, and in this world, the South is not a safe place to be known as a homosexual. It's hard enough just being a single woman without a man to keep you. Don't worry, I wouldn't say anything. We both have reputations to protect. I never expected to see you here, though. I didn't think law enforcement was one of your career goals. She looks at me for a moment. Well, things don't always work out the way we expect. We're here to do a job, right? So let's get to it. Right. This isn't about us. It's about solving a mystery and getting paid for it so I can pay my bills and go on with my life. My life, where I've been doing just fine without her. Let's look at those pictures. She brings out an enlarged photograph of a scene in the woods, an ashy circle that must have once been a campfire with a small blackened skeleton lying among the rocks. This was the most recent sight and the one that really started ringing alarm bells about cultists. Take a look and tell me what you see. Alright. Click on the image to investigate points of interest. You must find all clues to proceed. If you aren't using a mouse, go to the game menu and select mouse-free mode. Puzzles will shift to allow you to select clues directly. Nice! Begin the search. There are, I count quickly, 10 large pieces of paper or cardboard placed around the fire. Maybe brown wrapping paper? It's about the right color and the pieces appear to be torn unevenly. Most of the paper pieces have large symbols drawn on them in thick black marker. Some have smudged out of readability. The ground was probably damp and the water damaged some of the symbols. As Mr. Williams said, the weather's been wet a lot lately. The pieces of paper are weighed down with stones and twigs to hold them in place. I don't know what these mean offhand, but they look Indian to me. I'll copy them down in my notebook so I can look up more information at home. As well as my set of encyclopedias, I have a number of guides of world religion and mythology in my bookshelves. Some of them are leftover from my school days, others I brought as resources for my writing. Oh my god, Mal. I brought a couple of books on local legends with me to the police department today just in case they were useful, but it wouldn't have been practical to carry the whole collection. I wish whoever took this photograph had thought to move the rocks a little so I could see the symbols more clearly. I do the best I can to draw the symbols, but I know I'm missing bits and pieces. I'm glad the photographer managed to take in the whole scene, but it would have been helpful if they included some notes about the orientation. Oh, well, we know about some people's orientation. Fuck. Excuse me. With some rituals, it makes a difference with what you place facing north. The precise position of these symbols might be important to deciphering their meaning. I don't suppose the site is still intact? No, it was all cleaned up. It's not exactly a crime scene, so putting up tape to preserve it would worry citizens for no reason. Did they keep those paper symbols anywhere? I'm pretty sure they were thrown away. That's a pity. I squint at the scorched bones. 2 legs, a long neck, and a beaked head. Obviously a bird. No! No! Not a bird. Too big for a pigeon. The beak is too long for a chicken and too short for a seagull. Do you think this was a duck? Jackie leans over, her arm brushing mine. She doesn't seem to notice. Yeah, probably, but I'm not an expert. It might have been someone's dinner. They could have thrown the leftover scraps in the fire to clean them up. If our perp roasted a duck and ate it, the bones would be more scattered. Even over a campfire, you wouldn't cook the head. You've done this? Camping? Yeah? She doesn't offer any details. Okay, so someone burned a whole duck. It must have already been dead when they brought it here. I don't like to think about a poor little duck being burned alive, but even if someone were that twisted and mean, they would need a cage to hold it in place, wouldn't they? It's possible that it was a pet that died and they were giving it a funeral. Poets say the souls of loyal pets cross a rainbow bridge to a meadow just outside of heaven to wait for us. A funeral pyre might connect to Viking traditions about Bifrost, the burning rainbow that leads to the realm of the gods. The symbols on the ground don't look like Futhark runes, though. I suppose it's more likely that it was a sacrifice. That's what we're worried about. Blood sacrifice. Animal sacrifices aren't always about negative energies. Incense, valuables, and food are often burned to gift them to deities. Because the burnt offerings disappear and the smoke drifts away, it's like they've been taken up in the hands of a god. Were any of these burnt offerings people? Not usually. These fire incidents keep occurring. We have to worry what they might burn next. Right. 2 large logs are placed at the edge of the clearing. They look like they might make nice places to sit and watch a fire burn. Now, there's nothing occult or suspicious about the logs, but they do suggest that this was a regular campfire area being used. Or at least a part of a park that expects visitors to come and have a seat. There's 3 clues left. There are straight lines on the ground radiating outwards from where the fire was to the edge of the cleared space. Someone must have stabbed a tool or a large stick into the damp ground and dragged it outwards, again and again. Each line is a couple of feet long and doesn't show much wobbling. It must have taken some time to set it all up. The fire is the central circle, and these rays come out like a sun or a wheel. Those are both strong, basic symbols that show up in a lot of belief systems. The Wheel of Fortune, or of Life and Rebirth, the Wheels of Law and Progress, Fate and Consequences, which come back around to themselves. Sun gods are central to many pantheons. There is no life without the sun. Or the lines might be only meant to connect the fire to those other symbols, or draw attention to them. Fuck. I can't look at the guide. Something about stones. The fire area is surrounded by stones to keep the flames from getting out of control, just like they taught us in scouting. I don't see any tools nearby like buckets or pokers, but the fire starter might have taken those away afterwards. There's not much wood left, but it hasn't been broken up and scattered. The fire is probably left to burn itself out, or almost out, and then watered. Fire holds a central place in the majority of religions, so the presence of a fire itself doesn't point in any specific direction. Fires can be used to burn incense or sacrifices, to provide protection, to stand in as a representation of divinity or truth, to focus meditation, or just to provide heat and light during a ceremony. For that matter, a campfire can just be a campfire. It doesn't need to have anything occult at all. For mystical clues, I need to look elsewhere. I think that's all I can work out from this scene right now. I put the photograph back into the folder. Any initial conclusions? Well, no, not so much, other than whoever did this didn't want to start a forest fire. Why do you say that? Well... Logs? Yeah, probably the logs. Or is it the fire itself? I was gonna say, like, the stones, but I guess the fire itself? Look at the fire. It's completely surrounded by rocks with bare ground around that, just the way they taught us to make campfires when I was little. That's how you keep a fire under control. This fire was managed safely. And didn't the captain say that this wasn't a camping area? If that's true, then whoever made the fire had to set it up themselves. Whatever they were doing, they weren't trying to start a bigger fire. Sounds reasonable. You should look at the next scene. Right, the store. I look down at the introductory notes. The Lucky Penny. I've never heard of it, at least not that I can remember, although the map in the file folder shows it's only a little ways from a nice little shopping street where I found a cute dress once. Unfortunately, a block or two can make all the difference when it comes to how desirable a location is. These shop names sound distinctly off-brand, probably small and run down. The photograph is focused on the window graffiti, so I can't get a good view of the area or tell what the shop sells other than the jewelry displays right behind the glass. I don't think there'd be a lot of high-end jewelry for sale in that neighborhood, so it's probably a small local designer. Maybe the owner is the artist. In any case, it's obvious why the owner was so upset about the vandalism. Even in a bad neighborhood, being marked up like that can't be good for business. What clues are there to tell me about the culprit's motives? Begin search. I want to make a save. Yeah. All right. We gotta talk about the eye. There's a large eye symbol in the center of the palm. An eye inside a hand would usually be a hamsa, a protection symbol from the Middle East. It's meant to ward off evil forces. So it's not an evil eye. Hamsa is an anti-evil eye. But that's always depicted on the right hand, not the left. Putting it on a left hand could mean a reversal. So it is an evil eye. It might be. I try to remember. The eye inside the hand was also used in the Mississippi culture. It might represent a portal to the other world. Would marking the star as a portal to another realm be a good thing or a bad thing? I really can't tell what this signifies. This is strange. There are symbols all over the hand, and they look like alchemy symbols, but they're the wrong symbols, and they're in the wrong place. How are they wrong? Palm readers have a lot of traditions about naming parts of the palm so they can talk about the differences between them. The mound of Venus, the plane of Mars, the finger of Jupiter. I know what those symbols look like and where they should be placed on the hand. These are totally different. I can't read what all the symbols inside the fingers are. They're too messy. And I don't have every single alchemy symbol memorized, so I don't know what all of them mean. But I do recognize these triangles with lines through them. Those are the 4 classical elements: earth, air, fire, and water. And that's not what's supposed to be drawn inside a hand. Also, the palmistry symbols are always drawn inside the finger shapes, not over them. This setup is more like a hand of mysteries, except then there would be a fish. Jackie blinks a few times, but doesn't ask about the fish. I sketch as many of the symbols as I can onto my notebook for later reference. What about the triangles? Nope. Palm? It's an outline in the shape of a hand, slightly similar to the ones you'd see on signs to advertise palm reading surfaces. These lines mean the palm is facing forward, so it's a left hand. That could mean the left hand path, dark magic, or breaking taboos. In palm reading, the left hand also means hidden potential or unchanged fate. The right hand is supposed to reflect what you've chosen for yourself, and the left hand is your original destiny, if you'd let fate carry you along. It's still nonsense, but I appreciate that palmistry has some respect for people choosing their own futures. An upraised palm also means stop, so it could be a warning. The pointer finger on this hand is longer than the other fingers, which isn't right. Fingers don't look like that, at least not usually. That could be trying to draw attention to something, or representing the power of an idea, or it could mean wait. Or it could just be sloppy painting. Oh, what about this little smudge? The pattern on the window is made with some dark reddish substance. It doesn't look like paint. It's far too thick and clumpy, and there's no running drips. Instead, there's a single splotch over to the side of the main pattern. Possibly that's where the vandal tested their materials before starting to create the larger hand. It doesn't look like a deliberate design, at least. That makes it easier to focus on the substance itself. Is this blood? The on-site team said it looked like some kind of blood paste. Didn't smell like makeup. They took a sample for the lab before the site was cleaned up. Test results aren't back yet, so we don't know if it's blood. And if it is blood, we don't know if it's human. There are lots of ways to make a red paste, I'm sure, but that blood color is very unsettling. I think that's all I can work out from this scene right now. So, what do you think? About the case? She raises an eyebrow. Of course. About the case. Well, so far it looks pretty eclectic rather than any clear tradition. There is a lot of symbolism, but it's not matching up. I don't think I can draw any conclusions yet about what sort of person or people might be involved. I need more information. I point to the photo of the shop. When did this happen? A couple of nights ago. The owner, Joanne Wilcox, called it in first thing in the morning when she came by to open up for the day. No witness reports, so it could have happened any time after closing the day before. Do you know what the shop sells? The papers say knickknacks. That could cover quite a range. Do you think we could visit? I'd like to see the store for myself and talk to the owner. She might know things she hasn't thought to mention. Sure, I've got the Lucky Penny phone number right here. Do you want to call? You're more... She hesitates. Friendly sounding. I wonder what she originally meant to say. You're the official representative. She'll take you more seriously. And I'm better at making friends in person than on the phone. I found it's a lot easier to make a good impression when I can see someone and smile at them. On the phone, sometimes I sound too much like a little girl. All right. She picks up the phone, holding the receiver pressed between her ear and her shoulder, and dials the number. I find myself staring at her finger as it moves round and round the rotary dial, almost hypnotically. Girl. I suppose the department hasn't upgraded their equipment for years. Most offices have touch-tone phones by now, so they can program in a few numbers for easy redial. But then, what most people want to dial quickly is the fire department of the police. If you already are the police, who do you want to call? Hello? Is this Mrs. Wilcox? Hi, my name is... I look away, trying not to make things any more awkward than they already are. She's so... poised? Is that the word I would use if I were describing the scene? She looks confident, professional, like she completely fits in her attire. I don't just mean that the clothing fits her well, though it does, but that she just looks consistent. Everything fits together. Her face, her clothes, her attitude. She looks more comfortable in her skin, like a person who knows where she belongs.
Dogs go bark.
Compared to her, I feel like a child wearing my mother's dresses and high heels, still desperately trying not to tip over when I walk. I didn't ever think I'd ever see her again. I certainly never expected to see her like this. A professional whose hair is longer than mine. But now that I have, I can't imagine her any other way. Jackie hangs up the phone. She doesn't want us to disturb the customers, but she says we can come by 5 when she's closing up. So we've a bit of time then. It's only mid-afternoon. What am I supposed to do? Go home and then come back? Seems like a waste. She stands there, watching me. I have to say something. So, have you seen Carol recently? Carol? Oh, Carol. Oh, that's been a while. No, I haven't heard from her since... Last I knew, she wanted to join the Air Force or something. No idea if that ever worked out. Pity. It's a pity that it didn't even mean anything to you. Anyone else? I mean, in your life? No, I'm not in a relationship. It's the job that gives me purpose. Family. I don't have time for anything else. Ah. I wait for a moment, but she doesn't say anything more. She doesn't ask about me. Well, fine. She doesn't care. We're here for business and nothing more. I can be a mature adult about this. I'm sure you have other cases that could use your assistance. Is it alright if I sit here for a bit to read the rest of this file and go through my books and notes? The captain gave me an overview, but there's a lot of background information in the folder that I haven't read yet. That's fine. Call me if you need anything. There's coffee and water down the hall. I wrinkle my nose. Still hate coffee? Sorry, it's just nasty. It's so bitter. It tastes like you burned your water. She shakes her head with only the faintest smile and leaves. She always drank too much coffee, especially after a late night. I remember... This is the end of the demo. Purchase the full version of Nice Cascades to continue Diane and Jackie's story. The mystery awaits. Oh my god. Well, this is definitely one that's going on the wish list. Holy shit. Finally. I could be a pathetic lesbian in game, too. Oh my god. Oh, it really baited us with this one. I mean, it's literally in the a bundle called Buy Hanako Yuri Bundle, which is a whole 10% off. It is currently $56.12 Canadian. A small price to pay for Hanako Yuri. Oh, that's also right. They did Science Girls. Whew. Well, that is the end of our stream tonight. So, thank you all so much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Apologies for the stuff. Really not happy that updating to OBS 32 wrecked so much of my stuff, but I lived without those plugins before. I will do it again for the foreseeable future. Oh, God knows I have to completely rebuild my OBS stuff anyways once I swap over to Linux. I'm gonna swap over to Linux, I say, knowing full well that swapping over to Linux is going to be a huge nightmare, but I am very tired of Microsoft's bullshit. Enjoyed this a lot. Thank you very much, Ocean. So, as always, you can wishlist that was called Nice Cascades. It's on Steam. Go get it. How much is it discounted? It's 60% off. It's currently $5.19 Canadian. A small price to pay for Pathetic Lesbian. Oh, I've bought it. Hell yeah. It's good viewing. Love the narration. Have a good night. Thanks so much. I'm just going to quickly talk about what we're doing the rest of this week, and then we'll send you off to somebody else. Right. So, uh, for those unaware, I stream Thursdays to Mondays because I am a weirdo. So our next stream is tomorrow, 7 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time / 10 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. We'll be doing Fall in Love VN Fest Day 2. What's on Day 2, you ask? I'm glad you asked. Give me a moment as I navigate my infinite thing of torment. Right. So tomorrow we're starting off with Lock and Key, a magical girl mystery, then Princess of World's End, and finally Rotten Roots. So that's what we've got for you coming up tomorrow. So thank you all very much for tuning in. Thank you all very much for checking out some of these games, and I hope you found some that you thought are interesting. Everyone will know. Hell yes. I'm very excited to see the play-by-play. All right, let's see what we can send you off to. Who's live? Who's real? Oh my god, there are so many real. Suggested collaborators for you. Suggested collabs. I'm good, thanks. I will make the decision myself. Do I know of anyone who was doing jury stuff? Or sure, not jury stuff, participating in the event. I don't think I do. Wow. Okay, let's send you off to Lens, who's playing some Minecraft. I think she's playing Creative Mod Pack. So do that. Here's our raid message. You can unlock these emotes with your channel points if you're not subscribed. Otherwise, feel free to say stroke raid or something. Let our raid target know they're being supported. Thank you all very much for tuning in. I'll see you back here tomorrow for more visual novels. Until then, have a great night. Bye-bye. Yeah, my thing is my advanced scene switch was broken, so I'm just currently talking over an infinite screen now. Okay, that's gonna take some getting used to again, but that's fine. I can manage. Okay, bye-bye.